Yeah.
That fucking Asian guy asked her to fucking do the spa shit.
Uh,
Like, dude, just I told him leave the ones that seem innocent alone. Get the fucking retards to go do it. Yeah, there were some fucking baddies today, dude. Holy fuck. Did you see the anything about this escalator shit at the UN with Trump? Like right when he got on it, it stopped.
uh,
Apparently, people are thinking it was planned, which I would understand why, but that would be fucking insane. The air conditioning's been on for the past 2 hours, and I can actually breathe. Damn, dude, I can see the fucking railway tracks up here.
I guess I'm watching the stream.
Why?
PlayStation Plus ran out.
That fucking sucks.
You know, if the Mexican chick said yes.
Um, I didn't hear what he said, but it sounded like she said maybe, or like that sounded like he said maybe, but I didn't hear it properly. It was loud. Can't remember what I was gonna do.
Immigration law is a terrible, terrible thing, and it's evil, and you're the vernacular they use too. You're
Who are the
disappearing
congresswomen that have been calling them the Jack
AOC,
and Gestapo and stormtroopers? I mean,
Jayapal from
yeah,
Washington.
Yeah.
Obviously AOC, the whole, Omar has been saying it, the whole squad. I mean, this is not some kind of isolated one particular congressperson or one representative that's actually speaking out of pocket. This is the constant refrain from the Democrats for at least the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And this is normal, and I think that this is what you see. You see people saying, look, it is incumbent on us to go and take matters into our own hand, because again, the type of rhetoric that you get, it's not just that Donald Trump is a fascist or a Nazi, it's also there won't be elections again. How many times have you heard
last night too?
Yeah, so Newsom is saying there won't be
It's the
elections.
end of democracy.
Yeah.
It's a threat to democracy. It's they've been saying this for so long, but here's the thing: it's the center of the left that's saying this. You have to compare center left and center right, and it's like what the right is saying at the center is just common sense, normal stuff. I wish it was just the far left, but the center of the left is saying this crazy, wacky, horrible stuff. So.
I get the feeling that they're justifying it by thinking, okay, you know what, a little bit of chaos can create good in society, so let's maybe allow that to happen, and that they think that what will happen is that the government will ease off and pull back on ICE. But what you don't realize is when you stoke chaos, no one controls that.
I totally disagree with you. I don't think that it's about trying to produce what anyone would consider good. It's literally just trying to produce chaos in order to stymie the administration from doing what they were voted into office to do.
Well, the people in some of these states, with the big cities especially, if you've ever lived in like a big city, there's a lot of illegal immigrants that end up becoming your friends in those cities. And if they're getting yanked out of their houses, they're probably like, this is the most evil thing I've ever experienced. We have to stop it. Like, that's...
Are you talking about citizens or are you talking about politicians? Because he's talking about the way that the politicians are framing, which is very different from the way your neighbors are going to frame it.
The politicians maybe maybe have more of an agenda, but the people, the message is getting like, it's stoking this feeling of like what's happening is evil. People think it's evil, and they're supposed to break the law to stop the evil.
The left is saying it's evil, but like I don't believe my constituents in Las Vegas. Most of these people who are, they're illegal immigrants. They went through the process. They feel like the illegals and the open borders is what's causing all the chaos. And they don't see ICE as anything but something that is going to help fix the situation. So I just feel like the middle of the left, the center left people are what you said, which is like we want to disrupt Donald Trump at all costs, no matter what happens. And what that's going to do is going to cause the fringy, nihilistic, crazy kids to go out there and just start shooting and committing suicide. This is another guy who committed suicide today, right? So it's like this nihilism, this violent nihilism is going to I have two choices because nothing has any meaning. I'm going to commit suicide and I'm going to commit murder people, and usually in the order of murdering first.
I don't know how much time we have before they have to run Tim's segment, but what do you think it has been a net benefit or a net positive? Because we're talking about how it's being framed from the left, but the video, do you see the Theo Vaughn thing about being framed in the ICE video? Do you think that those videos from DHS are doing more harm than good?
I think that those are probably throwing red meat to the base.
Yeah.
There probably are people that see them and say, oh, this is so terrible that they're doing this. It's so awful that they're saying these things. And obviously Theo Vaughn is like, look, man, they're putting a target on me. And that's a legitimate concern.
Because he said that yesterday, and then this happens today. He's like, I don't want to get caught.
Yeah, and I totally respect his perspective. But I do think that the people that are looking at those things and that are apoplectic about them, if it wasn't a a video that ICE put out, it would be something else that they would be apoplectic about. They would be the reaction that they have is going to be the same, whether it be something that the right thinks is funny or whether it be something totally mundane and anodyne, right?
I saw that. Did you guys see the ICE video of Pokemon? Pokemon. They started. We're about to go up on us. They use the song, the theme song for Pokemon. My friend Jason Page is the singer. So I turn it on, I hear my friend's voice singing, "Gotta catch 'em," and they're grabbing illegal immigrants, and it's like.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was asking Phil about. I said, do you think that video is a benefit for the base or not?
I want to ask Marty. I know we're about to go to a clip, but like, how would you feel if one of your musics or your own vocals were just taken and used by a government?
Trust me, my Halo Monk chat has been used in a lot of places I never approved. So yeah, I would be about it.
I'm guilty of that, my man. I told Marty
I didn't say I was upset about all of it.
But I just want to make sure I'm coming clean. All that remains, we use that for a long
Just
time.
write me a check after the show.
Absolutely. There won't be a lot of zeros. So yeah, I guess Tim is going to be on what is it?
Jesse
Waters in just a minute or so.
Shout out to Jesse
Starting.
Waters.
So if you want to bring it up and actually bring up the volume, we can jump in here, so that way we get a little bit of the pre-hit context.
Much.
Topic is obviously going to be the violence that the left is engaging in lately.
Yeah, still getting harassed. Seeing Gavin Newsom. I got a Gavin Newsom story to tell you guys, so remind me after this.
I thought that was so irresponsible of him last night.
That conservative needed a police escort to leave campus. Kimmel lost his job for 4 days, and they said free speech was under attack. Charlie Kirk was killed for exercising free speech, and they said he had it coming. They say we need more civil debate, and we need to be more civil. So when we try to engage in civilized debate, they chase us off campus. Now the freedom of the press is under attack. But when it's conservative press, the media is silent. Here's a reporter getting swarmed outside the UN. Watch.
Like that. Charlie Kirk! Why would I say that? Why would I say that? No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Well, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. He's not black woman. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Get off. Get off.
That looks civil. Hillary says the rhetoric has to stop, and we agree, but she says not from her, from you.
We've got to stop demonizing each other.
Yeah.
Now, I think most of
Says
that
Bass,
right
the
now
woman that
in our
they
country's
call everyone
history
the
is
basket of
coming,
deplorables.
from the right. We've
What,
got
from
to
the right?
stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating.
Hillary called half the country deplorables and irredeemable, despicable Neanderthals. He needed to be deprogrammed and have their First and Second Amendment stripped. What has the right said about Hillary that Bill hasn't already said? And it's not like men in MAGA hats are shooting up Planned Parenthoods and Hollywood celebrities or journalists or politicians. No one on the right is acting on the language we're using. On the left, they are. And it's starting to feel like that's the Democrats' strategy. Intimidate us into shutting our mouths. They're using bullets to bully us into political submission. It kind of feels like they know what they're doing.
Political violence has gotten out of control in this country. We got to stop it. We got to condemn it. And that starts, unfortunately, at the very top of the Democratic Party. If you want to stop political violence, stop attacking our law enforcement as the Gestapo.
There you go.
If you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. If you want to stop political violence, look in the mirror.
Absolutely.
And if they're not going to look in the mirror and stop triggering their crazies to shoot us, stab us, and blow up our cars, then we're going to have to crack down. We can't sit back and not defend ourselves. It's open season on us. And if we're not going to save ourselves, who else are we going to save? Host of Timcast, Tim Pool joins me now. How hot is it right out there now these days?
I've never received more death threats. I've also got very serious security where we do our show. The threat level was so great. My team instructed me not to travel. I was unable to go to the memorial for Charlie Kirk. But Jesse, earlier just now you were mentioning the attacks that we've seen throughout the past weeks and months. But I want to make sure this is clear as it pertains to Jimmy Kimmel. The initial reporting was that advertisers and affiliates were upset. Sinclair said they wanted to bring the temperature down. None of that has changed. Sinclair and Nexstar are still saying they will preempt his show. As far as we know, advertisers are still upset. So what made the difference that brought his show back? Well, this is a little bit of speculation, but there was a terror attack on an ABC affiliate in Sacramento by what is reported to be a Democrat who opened fire on the building. And it's been reported by the New York Post that Sinclair pulled their Charlie Kirk memorial because of terroristic threats against ABC affiliates. So I agree with you, it's open season on people who are standing up, speaking out, or supporting Trump. But the left is also attacking regular people to force their... This is a little bit of speculation, but there was a terror attack on an ABC affiliate in Sacramento by what is reported to be a Democrat who opened fire on the building. And it's been reported by the New York Post that Sinclair pulled their Charlie Kirk memorial because of terroristic threats.
Up next, all 6 House guests compete for the power of veto. Who will win, and will it be used to save 2 nominees? Stay with us. Watch what the House guests are up to 24/7, live and unfiltered, with the Big Brother live feed on Paramount Plus and Pluto TV. Welcome back to a special double eviction episode of Big Brother. Already tonight, Kelly was evicted from the Big Brother house. Then, Morgan became the new head of household. She then put Keanu and Lauren up for eviction. Now, everyone will face off in the power of veto competition. At stake, the ability to change one of the 2 nominations or keep both of them in place. Let's return to the backyard and begin. House guests, it's now time for the power of veto competition. The winner of the power of veto
Against ABC affiliates. So I agree with you, it's open season on people who are standing up, speaking out, or supporting Trump. But the left is also attacking regular people to force their will. And I think it's because they recognized Donald Trump won the popular vote. Normal people have spoken, and they're not tolerating their strange policies that are destroying this country anymore.
I'm afraid an ICE agent's going to get shot. I'm afraid they're going to shoot him in cold blood. They're going to put a gun right to his head, and that's what's next. They're not going to just sit on rooftops and fire rifles. I feel like we're going to see blood in the streets if this continues to go the way it's going.
I think we have, especially with Charlie Kirk. It was horrifying. And you know, I want to make a point because, Jesse, I was watching The Five earlier, and we hear this a lot from liberals, that these studies show the right is more responsible. But see, this is a trick. I don't think you and I have any problem condemning some fringe white supremacist that has nothing to do with what we believe or what we support. No one in the mainstream Republican Party is going to defend those guys. But the person who shot Charlie Kirk, his ideology was so in line with the Democratic Party that AOC went on the floor of the House and denounced Charlie Kirk in much the same language. This is what we are seeing from run-of-the-mill moderate Democrats. That's actually what has me more concerned.
Yeah, and the leadership, it says nothing. Hakeem's out to lunch, Pelosi's out to lunch, Schumer doesn't even know what's going on. And that's the real problem, because the crazies have now taken over. All right, Tim, stay safe. Good to talk to you.
You know, to
Let's
Jesse's
bring in Florida
point,
Governor Ron DeSantis.
I don't
Governor, you
think
see
that I
Gavin
agree
Newsom.
that the leaders are out to lunch. I think the leadership has changed. The people that are actually setting the tone for the left or for the Democrats now, they are people like Ilhan Omar. They are people like
and the old leaders are afraid of those people.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they're deathly afraid of the followers of those people, and so they've been usurped. I agree with you totally.
All right.
Tim Pool in the house.
What?
Dog?
I just saw him on TV.
Yeah, it's magic. That was a time warp. You guys talking about? Shout out to Jesse Waters.
Talking about video games. No, we were
Nice.
just talking about you actually, and kind of following up with the conversation.
It's getting warm in here. I'm gonna turn it on.
Yeah, that's fine. My neck was cold.
Have you unmuted?
Where were we at this point? Oh, talking about the leadership in the Democratic Party, and that actually maybe the real leadership is the youth of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, AOC and Ilhan Omar.
With AOC reported to want to run for president in 2028. Because the point I was just making to Jesse Waters, that I've made on the show before. I don't care to denounce. You see, I'm running some fringe white supremacist guy. Like we all will denounce that. Nobody wants to support that. But AOC goes on the House floor and condemns Charlie Kirk and spreads those lies, the same lies that motivated the shooter, as far as we know.
Yeah, she absolutely did. Yeah.
Or even
And the common sense center of the right is not labeling even the the left, the far left, or the even the middle left with the same kind of vitriol that we're hearing coming back at us. We're not. We're like, hey, do you have different ideas? Do you have different goals? Let's talk. Are you socialist? Let's talk about your socialism and why we think it doesn't work. We're not calling you an existential threat, and we're not calling you, killers or something, unless you start continuing to call us Gestapo and Nazis, which is encouraging the fringe nihilists to start shooting at us.
You know, one thing during Biden's reign, no one on this show referred to him as Hitler. What they were doing with Twitter, especially the fascist regime affecting and controlling corporate media, we still didn't fall back on ad hominem attacks and likening him to a terrorist threat. It was like, look, we're going to create better leadership and we're going to change this.
The closest I can think of that is when he gave that speech with the all-red background.
Yeah. Well, even then, it was authoritarian. There were comments of authoritarianism, of militancy, but the right stopped short of actually calling him a fascist or at least of Nazi or something like that. Maybe there were people that said fascist, but that was a little hyperbolic. But
weird imagery that didn't make sense. But like, we don't even know what to call somebody when we're being called fascist. What's the opposite?
I think there is a segment of the right, especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk, where they're using the term demonic and they're referring to that. You know, there is that labeling of their views as demonic, and that was all in the wake of what happened to Charlie Kirk, and that would be the closest I would think of on the right is their labeling of what's on the other side.
Well, let me just say the difference is my father and my father-in-law fought in World War II, fought against Nazis, fought against, I knew somebody who was one of the first guys into Auschwitz, so that's real evil. And yeah, we have to have organized ways of fighting real evil. But when it comes to spiritual evil, we're talking about spiritual battles, so we're not using weapons to fight spiritual evil, but coming back at us as an actual kinetic weapon.
It's our culture. It's what we believe. It's how we see the world.
Yeah.
You know, there was one interesting thing. You know, when you go on these shows, shout out to Jesse and Fox, you only get a couple minutes, right? It's like one or two questions. I think the last time I went on, I just talked for like 4 minutes, and then he jumps in. But he made this point earlier in his opening that on the left they're saying we're at war, and we have to fight and do whatever we have to do to win that war. The right's saying that too. I think it's absolutely fine. There's going to be a lot of liberals, and they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, Alex Jones was saying that shit, just that. And I'll say, indeed he was. But I want to make this clear. We didn't start a war. I didn't. When they censored me and silenced me, when they accused me of lies and tried to smear me to my own friends and family, and then when they showed up to events that I was putting on and threatened to burn down theaters, I never went anywhere near these people. We tried having an event in, I think it's Pittman, New Jersey, and far leftists, Antifa line, threatened to burn the theater down. And so we had planned it for 9 months. 2 weeks out, they cancel on us. And he tells us to screw ourselves. We'll see us. He's like, I don't care. Nothing you say will change the fact they're going to burn my theater down. He's like, you can sue me for everything, but I'd lose my theater either way. I did not go to an Antifa club and threaten them. Yeah. They attacked me. Yeah. And so it's fascinating to see that we vote, we win, they attack. We vote, we lose, they attack. We vote, we win, they attack again.
So I made a new portal at a different part of my castle, and it took me to the same portal in the Nether. So I don't know I don't know how to counter that.
Oh. Amazing. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, this spawn is horrible, dude.
Fuck. You know if there's a multiplayer with Flight Sim?
Yep.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Oh, there is? Okay.
So what, I put a portal in the nether and then that messes up the original portal?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking stupid, dude.
While saying they are at war with us, and now you are getting people on the right saying it's time to wake up. They are trying to destroy us, and that was a huge wake-up call with Charlie Kirk. But I do think Jimmy Kimmel should be a very serious wake-up call for everybody, in that according to the reporting, there's a Democrat-aligned individual, a liberal, who shot up an ABC station. And several other affiliates received terroristic threats over the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel, and they gave him his show back.
Yeah.
ABC said, we're more scared of the terror from the left than the concerns from the right.
They also lost 2% of their value. Disney lost 2% stock value.
That's
$4
fake
billion.
news.
Is it really? $3.8 billion now?
Amazon lost more.
The stock market dipped, basically.
So again, we are dealing with an unrepentant force. Okay, they are going on X and saying, haha, we did it, boys. Disney just lost $3 billion. They did not lose $3 billion. There's an estimated loss of around 2 to 3 billion market share from the dip of 2%. But if you track the stock market like any sane person, you'll see Amazon dipped more. There's no indication that Jimmy Kimmel, a single show on Disney, caused the entirety of the Disney Corporation, which owns Marvel and Star Wars, to decline. It's the lie they use to justify. When the show comes back on the air after a literal terror attack, they then go, it's because we cost them money.
I've been thinking about, because you're saying kinetic warfare of guns and spiritual warfare, and like how do you do this? So I'm thinking you need to forgive your enemies. I know this sounds very weird, but in the metaphor of if you're being attacked over and over and you're like, stop, please stop, and they don't, you're like, listen, my military is so much, you have no idea the hell that will be rained upon you if you keep doing this. Please stop. And they don't. I forgive you for not knowing what you're doing, but I will still issue whatever it takes to stop that threat.
Divine retribution.
Yeah, and I don't hold any hatred for those people because they didn't know anything.
No, but he's correct.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. To your point, that's exactly what we're calling for. We want the power, we want the government to use its authority to stop this behavior.
So, by the way, the government is the place that has the authority to do it, and that is something we're depending upon. So that's not the spiritual warfare. The government is not spiritual. It doesn't have to do a spiritual thing. That's where the Bible is set up. The government is the authority. They can do this.
To Ian's point, there's a lot of people in the chat saying he's wrong, but he's completely correct. And I believe that there was someone on X who made a great quote that Jesus forgave the thief on the cross, but he did not save his life. The point is, Ian is making a great point. We are not the ones who hold hatred in our hearts and look at them and just say, you know what, I don't care anymore, I just hate you. We're the ones who say, forgive them for they know not what they do, and now round them up, arrest them, these are criminals. Forgive does not mean to just let them run roughshod over the country and destroy everything we love. It means that we won't let ourselves be blinded by hatred. We will think logically and clearly, and we will build a better union and society. I agree with Ian on that. It absolutely means use all available legal and lawful authority to stop these violent terrorists and their threats. Just don't hold hate. That's going to blind you, it's going to confuse you, it's going to disrupt your logic, it's bad for strategy. And that's the funny thing too about the forgive them they know, before they don't know what they do is There's more than just the noble.
Oh
I'm going to
boy.
be a better person, and I'm going to remove that hatred from myself, but I'm not going to spare you. There's also the functional, the scientific, that when you are enraged, you don't think clearly. So we need to approach this problem logically. That's why after Charlie Kirk was killed, and I, tear-stricken from seeing this, still said, cooler heads must prevail. We need to stop, pause, make sure there's no immediate reaction, keep calm, and then assess what the problem is.
Do you have any obsidian?
And I think that is now, especially with this morning.
You could check. I don't think I do though.
I don't believe that we are looking at a simple solution. The Trump administration declaring Antifa a terrorist organization is good. He's apparently going to have another executive order targeting leftist organizations that are funding these things. I believe they should do all of that. However, I also believe that will escalate the left. That will push them. They will get angrier.
I think I just need two, but I'll put whatever back.
After we decide, we will use the legal means to stop terrorism. I mean, a man opened fire indiscriminately on a vehicle, and that's how 2 detainees ended up dying. And the liberals are using that as though he must be right-wing. No, he was insane. He hated the right. He heard all of the rhetoric from the left. We need to stop these people with every legal tool we have, and we will be calm and collected about it and stern. And as they kick and scream like demons and banshees, we will not be moved. We'll say the job must be done. Off to jail you go.
Regarding this using every legal means, I kind of brought this up before the show. I think about using evil to create order. And sometimes you have your alignment, maybe you're 70 out of 100 good. If you do some evil, it's going to drop your alignment by 10 points. But it may raise your order by 20 points. And we have to discuss openly about what evil we're willing to see and allow to happen.
None.
Because, well, many people will say, I'm only good, I'm only orderly, nothing, and then they turn a blind eye to the real evil, because war itself is killing humans to create order. There is an evil act to create order, and there's a net benefit, ideally.
Killing humans is not always evil.
Yeah,
well,
I think your definition of evil is problematic. So even the Bible says thou shalt not kill, and kill implies the term murder. If you have to kill to prevent a death of an innocent or self-defense, the Bible says that's fine, and it's not an evil. Now, in the big picture, let me just complete this. In the big picture, evil is in the world because man defied God, and so we have to turn back to God. But we're in the kingdom of Cain. This is where brother kills brother. This is the result of the fall. So if in that big picture, any sort of death is the result of evil, but it's not an evil act to defend the enemy.
The way I see it is like murder will drop your alignment to 0. That is, do not ever, if we become permanent evil or permanent chaos, we lose. Do not murder. But killing in combat, it aligns with society. It's called alignment because we know that's their job. So it is evil, but it's not that evil. Well, I think killing is generally...
It's not.
They say we're
murder. No, murder is evil. No, listen, there's a different word in the Bible for murder and kill. Yeah. Murder is evil. Killing is not evil.
I'm gonna speak.
There's a distinction.
Guys, I gotta speak video game to you. I gotta speak video game to you.
Please.
When the guys are red, when they're named.
Is this not in the nether or whatever?
No, this is where it takes me when I come back from the nether, so I'm just going to destroy it and see what changes. Because it should take me back to the same fucking portal, right? In the castle?
Yeah.
So, and I assume you didn't put this here, so maybe it was already here?
No. So this is, you still have that one in the basement area or whatever, down the stairs?
Yep.
It's weird.
Are in red, your alignment.
Oh, yeah, you don't, because the rest of the human condition knows that what you're doing is righteous. It's like if you're killing wolves.
Let me explain, right? You guys are speaking in biblical terms. Ian's speaking Dungeons and Dragons, and I understand the point he's trying to make, but it doesn't apply to real life. And the analogy that I'll use is, we'll use Skyrim, for example. If the person's name is green and you attack them, your alignment goes down. If the person's name is red, nothing. There's no change. To bring it to reality, for the sake of what your argument is, if someone is evil they are acting to destroy, to harm others, there's a variety of reasons that they do this. Stopping them is good. Well, look, it's lamentable. We don't want people to die, but it's not evil to stop an evil person. It is just something we genuinely try to avoid. Let me just say this about the modern culture war and where we are. What we would describe as the right the whole time has been making the argument we can never be evil. And what do you see? Viral videos that are going viral right now, especially in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder, of people on the right at various rallies being mercilessly beaten and not fighting back. There's Andy Ngo is a really great example. When he was in Portland and he's drenched in milkshake and bleeding from the ears, disoriented, he is not fighting anyone. He is simply trying to walk away. And that is a problem, because evil triumphs when good men do nothing. And now the attitude has changed. And it's changed for one big reason. This right that we call it, which I don't even know if it makes sense, call it America, whatever, said we still will not go and attack leftists, go to their place of worship or business, whatever it may be, their DEI offices. They said, we're going to vote. We vote for you, Donald Trump. Please use the legal, lawful authority for which all of the people of our country have agreed upon to exercise that authority against those who would transgress upon us. And he is now, and now we are saying, bring it on.
But the thing about evil is it's how it aligns with the rest of people seeing the action. People feel and think that it's evil, and 99% of the world thinks it's evil, then it is. According to alignment. That's why they call it alignment. It's how aligned are you with the rest of us.
We're talking about the perspective of people, or like you're not addressing the fact whether it is or it isn't. You're talking about how it's perceived by other people. They have been manipulating your ability to act based on how they will portray it to the rest of the world. Like he said with Andy Ngo. If Andy Ngo doesn't attack back, they can't label him as somebody attacking other people. So for a long time, the right has had to tie their hands behind their back and not let themselves act, because of the fact that the media would paint them in a certain way.
I'm back.
Huh? Don't take the rail system.
Holy fuck.
Now we live in the age of the internet and social media, and the information makes it to people much quicker without the bend from the media telling you what this act was from another person.
This is a great point, because what would happen is if Andy Ngo did swing back, they would edit the video to remove the attack on him and say Andy Ngo attacks people. The difference is now Trump won the popular vote, and regular people have the confidence to say, enough, we are not the minority anymore. And so what's happening now is, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's killing, in the wake of a terror attack on ABC, and now this morning's terror attack, I mean, the dam is breaking. The right is saying, Trump, get the feds, get law enforcement. If this doesn't stop here, it will only get worse.
They were doing it the other day with the lady who got in the face of the ICE officer, right? And they were like, look at what this guy did to this poor woman. Except for the fact was, when you look at the whole video, she got in his face, they removed her, she came back, got into his face again, and went back again. They understand that they will be able to clip that video, portray that guy who works for ICE a specific way, and it doesn't matter if what their followers believe is true, if it is not actually true. If you're acting in good faith, if you are doing the right thing, it doesn't matter if what they are showing you is bent and wrong and manipulated. What matters is that you acted in good faith, you did the right thing, and the whole video is there for people to find, but they have to be willing to go out and find that video. They have to be willing to seek the truth of the matter. If you're talking about people who aren't looking to seek the truth of the matter, especially in politics, it's a lost cause because most people aren't. Most people are going out there, they're looking for videos and narratives that reinforce their view of the world. You cannot act as if everything you're doing is to try and change their mind. You can't change their mind.
Tim,
you simply have to act properly.
There's something you said. This is the function of government. The prime reason we have government is so that we, normal people, don't have to try to create order for ourselves. We give that right to the government, and it needs to create order, and it needs to create safety. Real order, real safety, and then laws can follow from that. But they have nothing. Laws mean nothing without actual order and safety.
This is order for ourselves.
That's what I mean.
When,
I mean, that's we're using the government. We're not doing it. We're not taking our own guns and going out and starting.
Here's the principal philosophical challenge that we face as a nation, is that we are good people, and that's a fact. Look around the world. What we as a nation have said, going back to our founding fathers.
Well, I guess I know how to farm
to be fair
obsidian.
to everyone, we will write down what we expect of you and give you a chance to review this. And even in the instance you infringe upon the rules we have agreed to create, we will still give you a chance. We have given every opportunity to the antagonists of our way of life. And so the issue now is laws don't matter. We talked about this last night on the members-only portion of the show. Join our Discord server at TDS.com, where someone said they're libertarian and they think we should get rid of the Civil Rights Act. And I said, it literally doesn't matter if we do or do not have the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act was created because our country was bifurcated. And so they said, we're voting. They voted. Okay, here are the rules. Many in southern states still didn't want to comply with it. National Guard got called in and said, you will comply. And they used force. In a society where everyone agrees, you need not any laws. You don't need any. Imagine if every single person was identical in their worldview and belief, there'd be no theft. There'd be no murder. And there would be no need for police because nobody would agree upon somebody else. Maybe courts, because sometimes people disagree and they have arguments, and so you need civil matters. But we don't live in that society, and so the problem right now is, as we talk about the laws we want enforced, the people of the United States need to recognize we are not in this, as the Democrats called it, war with Americans. We are a constitutional republic of the United States in a conflict with a multicultural democracy of the United States. And that's a quote, I'm paraphrasing, Stephen Marsh, who is a more liberal person from Canada. He said, there are two nations occupying the borders of the U.S., constitutional republic and multicultural democracy, and he said he was for the multicultural democracy. And I said, fair point. I'm for the constitutional republic. In which case, you can now recognize the distinction in this conflict. The multicultural democracy doesn't care what our laws are. We are a separate entity. That's why they simultaneously argued that Charlie Kirk should have been jailed for his speech and Jimmy Kimmel is a martyr for free speech. What they're really saying is, you are not us. So I just went on Jesse Waters' show and he played all of these clips about ICE agents, masked thugs, kidnapping people. Gavin Newsom going on, was on Colbert the other day, saying masked men jumping out, disappearing people, members of our community. And I said, illegal immigrants aren't members of our community. But you see the distinction? When we vote in this country, our Congress, our courts, our laws, our representatives, they all agree to the terms that we have drafted, and that is, illegal immigration is a crime for which you can be deported. The multicultural democracy of this country, Zoran Mamdani, a good example running for office, says we must protect our people from ICE. What does that mean? I beg of people to understand this philosophical and functional distinction. When I say something like, I'm a guitar player, you're a piano player. When I say we must, guitar players, come together and destroy the piano players, why would you ever think I was including you as a guitar player? There's a clear distinction as to who we are, and we are different. So when Zoran Mamdani says our people must be protected, he's telling you, the American voter, you are outside of his community. Your votes are meaningless to him. Your whims, your wills,
no,
your
you
laws,
fucking dumb
meaningless to him.
faggot
When
cunt.
you elect Donald Trump and he wins the popular vote and you say, please, Mr. President, illegal immigration is a very large concern for the American people. So
what kind of tea?
looks your way and says to you, you are not one of us.
Oh, let's see what I got.
We can to stop you.
And to,
This is the distinction.
to your point, that's the distinction they're making when they say our democracy. They're not talking about the United States. They're talking about the Democrats and people that align with them, because they've already made a distinction by saying they are fascists. They are trying to destroy our democracy.
Right.
The people that they point at and claim are fascists, those people are not part of their.
I want to say one quick thing before we jump to the next story. I just want to help people as best I can. Give you the context.
Spoils water.
They burn the American flag.
Right.
They fly a unique flag called the Progress Pride flag. They say our democracy. They say you are a threat to our democracy. They say we are at war with you. I did not ask for this. I begged for it to stop every step of the way. They lie. They say that I'm far right. They say Ian is far right. He's Moon Lord. It's because we exist outside of their community. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't blame them. But they are a chaotic force that has grown within the United States that seeks to upend and divide the United States. They mock our history. They destroy our statues.
Want some
They
toast with
rename our
margarine,
military
bro?
bases
Guy still hasn't
and
fucking
our
said what
streets.
kind of
They have
fucking
tried to kill the president.
tea,
They
dude.
have killed our most prominent
I
political
got green
leader,
tea
young
and
leader,
chai
Charlie
tea.
Kirk. They shot up a news station because they took their high priest off
Trying to
the air.
poison
me? What the
I
hell?
don't understand what else people need to hear to understand we are not talking about
This guy's trying to
roommates in a
poison
single
me, dude.
house. You are not having a disagreement with your brother anymore. And I
Fucking
hate to say
green
this
tea.
because people are going to say it's acceleration or whatever, but there is a reality here. There is someone outside of your home banging on the door. They are saying, I can do what I want to you. And the question is, are you going to open the door and let them, or are you going to ask the police through lawful means, please make this person stop? That's where we are at right now. This multicultural democracy seeks to upend and destroy.
boy.
We have called the police, Donald Trump, and said, please start arresting these people. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. The criminals often shoot back.
Yeah. I just want to, for you young guys, who here remembers when Clinton was inaugurated?
I do.
Okay.
What kind of tea do you drink?
I'm 50, so.
I
Earl Grey,
remember
orange,
watching this
Pico.
in horror, not because he was inaugurated. It was like, okay, here's our new president. There was an actor who I forget his name, but he was watching the celebration, and the jets flew over. The Blue Angels flew over, and this guy was interviewed. He goes, I looked
I
at
don't
the
think I
sky,
got
and I saw
that.
those military planes.
I got
and I thought,
Earl Grey.
those are our planes now.
Yep.
There it is. It's like no, dude. These were
Want some
always
Earl Grey?
our planes. Our military,
Sure,
our
dog.
police. This is what we're
Too bad,
together
dog.
country, when her husband was nominated or elected. I forget which one it was. And it's like, this use of our country is.
Do you know how to make a
excluded.
banner in this game?
It's the basis of communism is we are all in this together until you get it, and then one guy's on the top. That's
let me just-
same age-old crap.
Let me ask you guys, also remembering the Iraq War, for instance, or even the more modern conflicts we've seen against ISIS. How often do we in this country publicly,
I'm gonna
high
have an
profile,
Earl Grey
among
as
all of our
well.
political pundits and politicians lament the extrajudicial killings of people in a foreign land? Abdurrahman al-Awlaki, who I love to bring up, was murdered.
You know
by
there are
Barack
psychopaths out there
Obama.
who drink cold tea.
Like they wait until like they don't even heat it up, or they drink it while it's like
They
after
put
it's
that
cold.
shit in. They don't. Dude, they put that shit in cold water, man. Like I was fucking retarded. It's a human being to do that. Man. How goes the job search, dog?
Same as last time, probably.
Dog.
What?
I asked you a question.
Yeah, I said the same as last time, probably.
I don't remember last time.
Well, I haven't really fucking gone to many places since, so.
Why
lately.
not?
Well, I just haven't gone to many places.
About the music store.
I stood. Dog, it's the
What
symbol of the
dog?
castle, dog.
Are you satisfied with your life?
Nice.
You little shit. Give me a fucking answer.
I said nice.
You're approaching the big 3-0, man. Gotta start thinking about what you're gonna be doing with your life, man. This ain't no fucking game, man. Mommy and daddy ain't gonna always be there for you, man. Know what I'm saying, dog?
Sure, dog.
What you gonna do? They can't pay you the bills, huh? What you gonna do? Tell me, cocksucker. Tell me.
Nice.
Government, politics, media at the time cared at all that a child was murdered by our president. Why is that?
Because it was legal.
Because it was our president. Because it was us. That's not the issue. The issue
that it was legal. They care that it wasn't.
Patriot Act.
No, guys.
Legal, man.
The reason why in this example and why in so many others, those are factors for sure. The reason is the United States was not aggrieved by this. We, the United States, can bomb and blow up whoever we want, and the bulk of our country will not flinch about
Believe
it.
in God, dog.
Now the Democrats are complaining about that because Trump is doing it, and that
I
explains
don't
the
know. I
difference that
haven't
we're
read
facing.
any
It is
scripture
not
yet, so I
us
couldn't really.
anymore.
It's
And
not an
that's
answer.
exactly the
A
point.
You
question
better
I can
start
answer.
praying, dog.
When Barack
Yeah, I
Obama
probably should.
blows up somebody, this country
No
largely
problem,
just
you
went,
should, right now.
I mean, the debate was
Say
over the
fucking prayer
legality of
right
killing
now.
Soleimani in terms of will it start a war, not with someone
Do
murdered
it.
in the process. No one in this country, and I don't mean literally no one, obviously libertarians, anti-war groups, they care about this. At the highest levels of politics, personality,
But
TV,
dog, don't
and
pray for
government, they
yourself.
don't say, what about
Pray
a
for the
criminal
less
trial for
Oh,
that ISIS terrorist we just bombed? Because
Nice.
they are not us. Understand that
What,
perspective.
dog? It's what
Now
Jesus would
you are an
want.
external force trying to destroy America. Apply that to how Democrats have been behaving with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, cheering it on,
Speak up.
and you will understand that same feeling. It's a
You
constant
think
either
the
indifference or celebration.
the son
And
of
you take a look
the
at
richest
how
man in
United
the
States
world
dealt
is
with
praying
war
for other
over
people?
the past 20 years. And for most people, the bombings in Afghanistan,
What's
Iraq,
his
or
name?
otherwise, were
X59er
indifference or celebration.
1010-079Z5
Americans
or whatever his
were
name
largely
is.
indifference. Then after that,
Well, didn't
celebration.
Elon Musk name his
Take a look
kid
at what
a
Democrats
fucking
did
barcode
with
or some
Charlie
shit?
Kirk.
Yeah.
At first,
Have you seen how tall my tower is, dog?
largely indifference after that, saying, well, look, I know it's wrong,
You
but he
fucking
deserved it
gay,
for this
dude?
reason.
Shut the
Only
fuck
when
up.
pressed
I told you to
is it a
fucking
real
pray and you're
threat
asking
are they
about
trying
some
to put on a
gay
PR
tower in
piece. But
Minecraft,
with that
bro.
being said, I do
Don't
want to
you
pull this story from
understand?
Mediaite.
Your life is passing you by,
Charlie
dude.
Kirk's producer torches unrepentant liar Jimmy
Well,
Kimmel.
it's what
Your
happens.
life,
for his
it's gone, dude.
comeback
It's
monologue
gone.
for
It's
Friends.
going. It's gone.
This is
Alright?
actually astounding.
You can't get the
Jimmy
years
Kimmel
back,
did not
dog.
apologize.
You gotta
In
fucking
fact, I would
focus.
describe it as tripling or quadrupling
Minecraft
down.
ain't gonna
And the reason why
fucking
is
save
it's a
you, dog.
28-minute monologue
Only
where
Jesus will.
he doesn't apologize. He attacks Trump. He insults me. He insults you. He claims that the only issue, or I should say that he accentuates a particular issue as if to imply, once again, that the reason he was taken
Alright, this
down
fucking
was
game,
because
dude.
Trump can't take a joke.
President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me. And
When
the
they
hundreds
put
of
a
people
update
who
in
work
this
here
game
fired
that
from
allows
our jobs.
things
Our
to
leader
curve, then I'll play
celebrates
it.
Americans losing their livelihoods
To what?
because he can't take a joke.
When they fucking put an update into that game that allows things to be fucking curved, Then I'll fucking play it, okay?
What do you even mean?
Fucking Minecraft, dude. Everything's fucking square. Fuck that shit. What do you mean, what do I mean? Are you fucking retarded?
It's pretty stupid, actually.
You don't know what a fucking square is, dog? A fucking cube? What's 5 times 5?
5.
Fucking retard can't answer.
Faggot can't even hear.
Faggot can't get a new goddamn mic. Fucking piece of shit.
Faggot doesn't realize it's not the mic that's the problem, it's the faggot on the other line.
Fuck off.
Able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens,
What should I
or
do,
if there's
man?
even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out.
What should I do, man?
He did not apologize.
I don't know. I don't know what you're...
Fucking faggot doesn't know how to answer.
Maybe if the faggot wasn't 7,000 miles away from his PS5, he would be able to hear me.
Fuck yourself.
He could have, and it would have been very easy.
Oh.
But he won't. And the point that I brought this up when I was on Jesse just a moment ago. The only thing that we can discern as to why Disney brought him back, the affiliates, even just before we went live, Nexstar said, "No, we ain't bringing him back." I couldn't even watch it last night. I was in bed. I pulled up. First, I tried YouTube TV. Nope, because Sinclair owns the streaming rights. Just all broadcast and streaming rights are combined. And so I tried all the streaming
The fucking
services.
faggot is
I
playing
tried
what?
going to ABC's website, and it's got a lock symbol on it. It wouldn't let me do it. I had to wait until
This
someone
fucking
was watching
faggot didn't buy the goddamn Apache, dude. Fucking loser, man.
Faggot wants me to buy an Apache when he could just pay for it. Like, what a retard.
ABC bring him back? Well, I said the other day, I'll say it again.
What
guy
a
shot one
fucking
of their
cunt.
stations. And so, like terrified individuals in the crossfire, I said, Jimmy, we'll do anything you say.
Go to where the UN Council is held or wherever.
Coming after me. Trump did this without an apology.
I don't even know where that is.
You know what he could have said?
Figure it out.
Really terrifying.
Why don't you figure it out? You're the one that wants me to go there.
Who felt I was implying
Yeah, you're the one who's playing the fucking game, dog. Do it.
I apologize.
He kind of
matter
did.
at all.
He didn't say the word "I'm sorry," but people, false prophets, they'll use words that without the emotion, without the meaning behind it. If you can say "I'm sorry" and not mean it, he cried on camera for like a
He
minute
does
and a
that all
half.
the time.
I mean, it was pretty. We could play it and let people decide for themselves.
Ian, with all due respect, I hear what you're saying. Marty, are you married?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten into an argument with your wife?
No, never.
When
remember, never. No.
When you're in an argument with her and she's mad at you for something you did, and you know you did something wrong.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you looked at her and said, "I understand"?
It depends on.
Everybody listening right now is looking at their wives going like, "Right,
yeah."
When you do wrong, and it's not about just your wife, but your husband, or you're in an argument with someone, and you know you did wrong, and they're upset at you for it, and instead of saying, "Look, I'm sorry," you just go, "I understand why you're mad."
That's similar to saying, "I'm sorry you feel that way."
Exactly.
Which has got to be the worst thing you could ever do in an argument.
Right,
You know, that's essentially what I think Jimmy Kimmel did last night. Is he's like, "I'm sorry that people feel this way."
But he lied again. No, he lied.
Yeah.
Because the issue was not Trump being mad. It was that the advertisers felt the heat from everyone in this country who said, "A man just died. Can you please not?" And Jimmy said, "I'm going to use this to go after Trump and get millions of views."
You know, I think a real apology, you said words can be facetious, but is just to be a better person, is to not make the mistake again. That's a real apology.
They're not capable of that with what they do. They're not. He's not capable. There's too much money to be made in the monologues that cover this. The ratings that have plummeted on these shows, which of course are now up again because of all of this controversy, they have made their entire market share for these late night shows about Trump. We were talking last week, like, what would it be if these guys just came out and did monologues? Like, there's news every day that you can make stuff up. There's actual content creators who are covering stuff. Did you see the horrible joke that Robert De Niro made about the Tylenol and the autism? That was not good. It was just really bad in this monologue. And he does a thing where Robert De Niro plays the FCC chair, right? And the problem is when you're politically brained, when you have a side that you pick, and you don't have any understanding of
Dog, I'm going down.
current events, you can't be funny. Especially when you're running through 100 writers, it has to go through the legal.
I'm going down.
Lied, and that you know that it was a lie because it was weasel words, because that what he said last week when he says that they were trying to paint the shooter as anything other than MAGA, that passed through 100 writers and a legal department before it came out, and it was phrased in a way to give them some sort of plausible deniability.
He didn't retract that statement, which is the only statement that we were complaining about. Plus, but here's my other thing, is if Trump is such an authoritarian, and he doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on being an authoritarian dictator, Jimmy would not be back.
Yeah.
Like this, where's the power? Where's the authoritarian power? Where's the rioting on the right when something bad happens? Where are the people boarding up their windows of their stores? It's because we don't do that, and Trump is not an authoritarian. If it was Xi Jinping in China, there'd be a whole different thing happening with Jimmy Kimmel right now. He would actually understand what he's accusing Trump of being.
My take on this, what happened with Brendan Carr, who's the FCC chair, went on Benny Johnson's show and mentioned Jimmy by name, and then said we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. And then the next day, the affiliates pulled. That felt like a fascist, evil act that produced order.
This is what the left preys upon, because the actual reporting said advertisers and affiliates. So the question is, for what pressure did advertisers feel? The FCC is not going to go to the advertisers. It was actually backlash from regular people. It's unfortunate.
Tower Speedbird 1123 ready at runway 23 straight out departure.
This is what the left preys upon.
Kiri Cruciale son.
Cleared for takeoff runway 23 Speedbird 1123.
Because the actual reporting said advertisers and affiliates. So the question is, for what pressure did advertisers feel? The FCC is not going to go to the advertisers. It was actually backlash from regular people. It's unfortunate because the FCC became the excuse for the left to turn it into Orange Man bad once again.
No, the FCC head mentioned Jimmy by name, said easy way or hard way, and then the next day he's off the air.
Do you know what percentage of stations are owned by Nexstar and Sinclair? 23%. So how come the rest of the affiliates didn't budge? Also, Nexstar and Sinclair haven't backtracked. Why did they bring Jimmy back?
It sounds like Nexstar is a minority and that they were the ones that budged.
Let me just ask you again.
You realize these are public airways. It's like a public. That's a whole other discussion.
Okay, but Ian, if the FCC was the reason why Jimmy was pulled by ABC, why did they bring him back with the advertisers on their position being unchanged?
Well, there's a huge backlash from the populace.
So
which populace?
Yeah,
people screaming about free speech.
So the popular vote winner, Donald Trump, who has more than half of the support of this country, or let's just call it 50-50. So why would Disney put themselves in a position where they are not only on the opposite side of half the country, but also advertisers? Leave the affiliates aside. My point is this. Everyone wants to make it about the FCC. Conservatives are so easy to trick, it's laughable. Okay? The FCC, I do think it's fair to say, played some form of a role here because that pressure is visible. But the reporting doesn't show that, and we'd be speculating to make that assumption. I do think it's fair to make the assumption, however, it's logic, right? But at the end, they brought Jimmy back. Okay, well, the affiliates haven't changed their positions, so why bring him back? The argument is, well, because there was a backlash. The backlash got him taken off the air in the first place. So again, what is the unique identifier? I'm going to go ahead and say the only discernible thing is the terror threats against ABC stations.
Oh, I'm sure it was
and a guy
part
who opened fire on an ABC station.
Yeah, probably part of it.
Specifically citing Bob Iger and Dana Walden, who said, according to the Wall Street Journal, they feared for the safety of their staff. So if the affiliates haven't changed their position, how is this an FCC-related issue? ABC was looking at 23% of their stations, not even the major markets, New York, LA, and Chicago, unaffected. So ABC said, a minority of our markets are upset. Let's cancel Jimmy Kimmel altogether. I don't think the issue...
They didn't. They just indefinitely suspended his tenure, which means it could... Indefinite means there's no defined date. It could be one day or it could be a year.
What is the motivating factor? And I think it was, they said, you are...
Dog, there's still hopes for World War III.
Now we are looking at a certain amount of affiliates and advertisers who are angry. You're going to make it worse. He just did.
Yeah,
he
dog.
just made it worse. I don't think this has anything to do with the FCC. I take that back. A little bit.
Oh, Poland is,
but with all of the outcry, and even
what is that group called again?
Something like I shouldn't have made it seem that way or something like that.
Yeah, and the other thing that Brennan Carr brought
Oh,
up
is it part of NATO, or is it, what is the other group? Is that it? NATO?
Felt like they were being stepped on by these national
Talking about BRICS?
Is Poland part of NATO?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I think they're going to start shooting down Russian jets flying over their airspace, and yeah, dude.
That's fucking
I'm
literally.
gonna get that M60. I'm gonna get that M60, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking happy.
So what Brendan Carr said is that we're giving the power back to these affiliates to be able to act as they see fit, act in the service of the people who watch their stations at the local level, not at the national level.
So one of the things you said is that Disney now can decide their network.
You see that fucking faggot Kimmel cry?
Basically, and the affiliates have no say over that.
No, the affiliates do have a say.
Fucking punch this guy, man.
Have the ability to decide to preempt a show. If they want to take something off air because they feel that they can put syndicated programming.
What would you do if he was right in front of you and he was crying like that?
But for a long time, Disney has been able to any of these national.
Whoa!
Use the size of their platform to exert
that was uncalled for.
To get them to not do that because they want to be able to keep their ratings clean across the board. They want to be able to show their ratings for a show like Jimmy Kimmel in all markets, not just in one that's missing 23% of its audience. And that's not for things that have large-scale controversies like this, but rather removing it for local events or local news.
Yeah, you mentioned, Mark, that this is like it's supposed to be national airwaves. It's not supposed to be biased. It's not supposed to be having things that can...
It's supposed to equal time. The fairness factor, especially when it comes to anything political, and it's like that hasn't been, in play for a long time. It's just sort of an understood thing. But for him to actually outright lie and paint half the country with
Damn, this thing loses control so easily.
And then he was offered, you can make it right. You can come back and make a correction and an apology. And he could have, and it could have been sincere, but he didn't. He could have done that before he was canceled. And he said, absolutely not, I'm not doing it.
I will
push back. It was not about a joke about Trump. It had nothing to do with Trump. It had to do with him telling a lie about half of the country.
I don't think it was a lie. He didn't lie, technically. He said they're trying to say that he wasn't MAGA, which technically is true.
That is exactly
we're saying he's not MAGA.
So my employers are pretty happy with my performance. And so they're gonna let me go to the next Build-A-Bird meeting.
Nice, dude.
It's gonna be so fucking lit, dude.
You're gonna come back and you're gonna have a suit on and you're gonna talk different and
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna be able to dominate now.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody.
Dog, do you see the flapperons?
Nah, dog.
He bracelet.
Knew he wasn't MAGA.
Ian, have you ever bought a balance bracelet? No? I bet I could sell you all sorts of crystals, rocks.
Hey, man, deception's not the same as lying. He deceived people. He didn't lie.
Yes, he is.
He didn't lie. Come on, know the definition of the word lie. I'm trying to win the culture war. You're supposed to use semantics.
That was a lie.
It was a deception.
Yeah.
Or he was insinuating that maybe he was
lying.
MAGA.
What is okay?
Listen,
What is
You
the
can listen. If it doesn't fly with your girlfriend, it doesn't fly with the public. If you're gonna tell your girlfriend, right? I didn't lie to you. I deceived you. She's gonna be like, BS, you lie. You can't like these semantic.
You can deceive people all sorts of ways.
These semantic arguments don't mean anything to normal people.
They mean something to smart people.
Hang on.
And how many people
Wait. Now,
qualify as smart?
didn't we just hear Jasmine Crockett say you can commit a crime, but that doesn't make you a criminal?
Yes.
Okay, that's insanely stupid. Okay, so if you deceive someone, it's in the category of lying.
Other way around.
It is a sin. No.
Lying is in the category of deception.
Deception and lying are.
Damn.
You know, whatever you want to call it, they're the same thing. If you lie, you're deceiving. If you're deceiving, you're lying.
There's a difference of lying by omission.
Yeah.
It's not lying.
Still a lie.
It's a type of deception. And it's by
lying by omission. Trust me,
I don't understand
it's a lie.
why we're arguing this. You're not telling anyone to understand.
I just don't want to hear my friends say he lied when he didn't. I don't want to use wrong words right now. It's super important that we're accurate.
He didn't.
Well, I don't know. There's no point. Yes, no, yes.
When people talk about like the evils of the media now, they talk about the tactics they use to deceive, as you say, the American people, which is the idea of, like, if we're talking about a news article, lie by omission, lie by structure. So if you want to hide the important information from somebody in an article, you put it in the last paragraph because you understand the average
How
person
about
doesn't
I
make it.
just read the definition?
There you go.
A statement made with the intent to deceive.
So
it's within the realm of you can do other things.
Okay, so let me give you an example, and you'll understand this, and everybody will understand this. My business partner, Mike, great guy. There was a point where we both would drive to the studio in Chicago every day, and then we would drive home to the suburbs. And for some reason, we got into this contest of like seeing who could get home first. So one time, I got home, I called him, and he wasn't home yet, and he was still in the car. And I said, I beat you home. And he goes, yeah, but did you have to stop and get gas first? And I'm like, oh yeah, she's right, I didn't.
I'm not saying pull it up, I'm just...
So that was that was him deceiving me into thinking that he had stopped to get gas. But he was able to say, you know, I never said I stopped to get gas. It's still a lie. Everyone knows at the playground that's a lie.
It was deception. He deceived you without telling a lie.
Which was a lie. Okay, this is a pointless conversation, so let's...
I agree.
Why don't we... let me see. Let's jump to this next story. We got big news! Woo, CNBC. Former FBI Director Comey expected to be indicted soon in Virginia federal court from MSNBC. Now, there are some qualifications to the story. They are trying to bring the indictment now because they have 6 days until the statute of limitations is up. Therefore, homie's getting indicted, right? I mean, I don't see a reality in which they don't pull this off unless somehow a grand jury doesn't return an indictment, which like literally never happens for the federal government. And this is for lying to Congress, I believe.
Deceiving.
Indeed.
You're both correct.
Right. Trump in a social media post on Saturday called Comey guilty as hell.
Whoa.
MSNBC reporter Ken Delanian, in a post on X, wrote Wednesday, the full extent of the charges being prepared against Comey is unclear, but the sources believe that at least one element of the indictment, if it goes forward, will accuse him of lying to Congress during his testimony on September 30th, 2020, about whether he authorized a leak of information. Comey, that day under questioning from Senator Ted Cruz, stood by his prior testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee that he did not. I remember this. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a video on my channel, youtube.com/Timcast, Did Comey Lie, where I concluded back then, probably not.
Right there.
Actually, no, wait, this wasn't 2020. He lied a lot. Holy crap. Yeah. That video I was talking about, I think, was from 2018. Dang. Okay, well, last week, stood by his prior testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee that he did not. I remember this. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a video on my channel, youtube.com/Timcast, Did Comey Lie, where I concluded back then, probably not. Actually, no, wait, this wasn't 2020. He lied a lot. Holy crap. Yeah. That video I was talking about, I think, was from 2018. Dang. Okay, well, last week I tweeted, at this pace, I expect to see arrests by I predict we'll see arrests by next week. And then this story broke, and there's a couple other stories about pending indictments as well. To be fair, my prediction is not correct just yet, but what do you guys think?
Can I just ask, who comes up with the statute of limitations? I kind of feel like some of these things, well, when I get to Congress, I'm going to say I think we should extend all the statute of limitations. We don't have enough time to actually figure some of this stuff out. And then like, oh no, you know, Biden's son Hunter, he's, you know, it doesn't matter what he did because we're past the statute of limitations. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
No. I agree with the statute of limitations. The problem
I'm not saying
is,
there shouldn't be. I just think I'd like to like extend them.
It's hard to know the limits are. The general idea is if the government knows a crime is committed but refuses to prosecute for a certain amount of time, then they can't come back later and do it. The reason for that is you might be accused of a crime. And again, accused is not proven.
Yeah.
And the government then says, we can charge you whenever we want, so you better do what we say. Statute of limitations stops that. But here's the issue. The issue is we didn't go after Comey because Biden was in office, and you couldn't.
And not only that, I don't think we couldn't even get the evidence. It's like sometimes, well, and this is why I think it's interesting that murder has no statute of limitations, and that's why you murder somebody and it would come back and get you at any point in your life. So I'm not saying what Comey did is tantamount to murder, but I think it's if he got a 4-year head start because he got Biden into office.
What is the actual charge that they're looking at for this guy lying to Congress?
Well, that's the one we know of so far, but there may be more.
There's a new
like the dirty, during the Hillary email Clinton scandal, when Hillary Clinton's emails were getting 30,000 emails getting destroyed, you know, which was
I don't fucking know.
Comey was kind of, I believe, covering for her in a way. He was like the hard arm of the FBI director.
Yeah, director of the FBI.
Like their job is to lie to the American people a lot of times.
And deceive.
Yeah, and like.
Sorry,
for national security. Well, you're right. It's both. It's for national security, and then what I really can a little bit concern me is like when the next administration comes in, they're like, we got to clean up the mess the last guys made. You're like, not every time. Like sometimes just.
Dog, I got one of the bunnies in my house with tentacles.
Nice, dude.
With his butt.
What if it was a party? And it was a really fun party.
You'd still want to clean it up. And maybe you want to hide the lid, but you got to.
So what if you had an administration and there was some national security? You have to lie to the people, or you feel like you do. You issue your.
Yeah, dog. I think it's contagious.
Yeah, go pet it, dog.
When you're out of office,
depends on the lie.
I already did, dog.
So when you're talking about these lies, it's really easy. I don't play these stupid games where it's like.
I got shit growing on my fucking hand.
No. The answer is, should the government lie? Yeah. Sometimes, for some reasons, there are reasons why the government lies. That's why we have national security, security apparatus. That's why we have confidentiality. That's why we have we have security clearances. Sometimes the government has to be like, I'm not going to tell you. Now, the lie part of that, it depends on what your limit is. But let's say that like someone accidentally sees a piece of military tech that we need for a national security purpose, maybe a cybersecurity thing, and then this person runs out, goes to the press, and says, "I saw this guy doing this thing." Well, if you came out and said, it is true, he did see me doing this thing, well, you've exposed what that is. At that point, you're probably going to want your government to lie about it and say, this is incorrect, he was never there, and it's silly to think that. In fact, what he actually saw was a weather balloon.
And if Congress calls you to testify under oath, you're still technically supposed to lie.
In certain circumstances, the reality of life is, we do not live in the invention of lying with Ricky Gervais, okay? When your significant other, your wife, your girlfriend says, does this make me look fat? Well, it depends on the kind of person you are, but most people are going to lie. And even if they're like, I can't lie, you do look a little fat, you can still do it a nice way. But some people might just feel like you look great because they want that person to call it little white lies. In government, it's more challenging because, well, the people have a right to know, right? Within certain confines, I believe it's extremely important that information be available to the public. I also recognize you need national security because we go to war sometimes. And could you imagine if the U.S. was like, no matter what we do, whenever we do it, we're going to tell the whole world. Yeah, we'd be conquered in 2 seconds.
George Washington was a master of deception.
Oh, bro, could you imagine if, like, the Founding Fathers were like, now, before we make any moves, let's hold up gigantic flags and blow our horns and then send letters to all the enemies and make sure they all know exactly what our plan is.
They cross the Delaware and make sure they wake everybody up before they start slitting throats.
Yeah, that's only fair.
Yeah.
I think with our constitutional rights protection against search and seizure has been violated with the PRISM network, where they can all of our texts and videos and emails are being recorded.
No such network exists.
PRISM? Oh yeah, exactly. What about the network that Edward Snowden did not expose?
What about the seizing of property?
that's another. Well, that's technically what's happening when they take your texts and your voicemails.
I was warned about this. There's a certain level of conspiracy theory stuff that you guys apparently get into. So.
Oh no, the government.
What conspiracy theories?
The government people are able to take your texts and your voicemails. They used to have to get a warrant for that stuff. Now they just record it and send it to a database.
Civil asset forfeiture is not civil assets forfeiture is not a conspiracy.
I'm just making a joke.
So Jim Comey testified, not Jim Comey, but James Clapper to Congress, and he's like, we did not wittingly spy on the American people. Blatantly lied. Yes. Because they felt like they were supposed to. But this PRISM network that they were spying on people with violated our Fourth Amendment. So, like, at what point are these lies actually upholding the righteousness of the U.S. Constitution?
No, that's for us to decide as the people. And we can vote on this. We can get the people in we want. Certainly, what Comey is probably going to be accused of doing is lying for political reasons, for self-serving political reasons, not for the good of the country. So, I mean, that's proven. I think he's
Shit.
Insanity of that is the blatant lying that went around that, and it was not in any way, you cannot talk about that being to save, to protect the American people. It was a pure, horrible way to save the Trump administration and the lies that went around that to try to make the Trump administration have no power. And it was self-serving, for the Democrats, and all the people who encouraged that and lied about it, Pennsylvania, what's his name?
Shifty Schiff.
You said it, so I don't have to.
Well, I'm only saying what Donald Trump said, because he is a Pennsylvania. His head is too big for his mouth.
Here's my metaphor about what's happening on Earth right now.
I'm a liar, but it kind of makes me wonder.
You guys are into video games, so I look at the liberal economic order got built basically to destroy communism and protect the world. They were going for a domination victory to try to take over the planet. Then the Soviet Union ended in '89, but the liberal economic order is still in control. So it's like looking for a nail. It's a hammer. Like, where's my communism? Where's my communism? And so it's, well, Russia, bad guy. Russia. So this machine is built to fight Russia. It's been around, but we don't need it anymore. Now we've made pretty clear, like, it's we need diplomatic victories.
Liberal economic order. That's about more like economics than actually like trying to keep Russia in check, right?
It was basically to keep the Soviet Union in check.
And that's what NATO and the UN. The UN was kind of designed to do that. Not as much as NATO was. NATO was intentionally designed to keep the Warsaw Pact in check. But the liberal economic order, that's like that genuinely is a net benefit for the world.
Yeah,
bringing countries that had basically had basket case governments and had zero economic activity, had massive amounts of absolute poverty. The liberal economic order, the proliferation of capitalist ideas and free market ideas brought, it essentially has gotten rid of abject poverty almost entirely. And there will be only a handful of on a global scale, a handful of people that are in abject poverty by, I think, 2030, the UN and stuff we're saying. So overall, that has been a massive benefit for the human race.
I think what's happening is the holdovers of that thing are these people, these Comey and the Obama administration. It's like they're still in that state of like, we must destroy Russia, control the planet by domination, military victory. And after the Middle East wars, it became apparent to me that we can't. Nuclear threats, we don't have the manpower, and we have to find another path, which is like the cultural victory or the scientific victory. But that machine is still in place, and that's what they were doing. They thought Trump was going to derail it.
Are you talking about?
And he largely is. I mean, this what's really funny is that up until Trump won in 2016, the system was the uniparty. It was one global order. It was the liberal economic order machine. And be it McCain or Obama, you got the same system. Be it Romney or Obama, you got the same system.
Dog, when's the next election?
Win and did, and the liberal economic order fell into chaos and panic. And now the craziest thing is, from that point on, conspiracies began to unravel.
The dog, I'm dying here.
Conspiracy theory my whole life, and now it's just historical fact.
Get used to
All
it.
of this insanity is buckling under the
We have a bunch of feminine retards and a bunch of whores that don't want to make anything better, so it's dropped.
People who start the liberal economic order after World War II, if they could see how their grandchildren are handling this,
Bunch of
they would
whores.
spit on the floor. and say what. But hey, welcome to
Yo, you see what I'm playing?
But you know what?
I'm playing a video game.
I don't think we've won just yet, especially with the terror attacks that we've seen. The left is rearing its ugly head, unwilling to accept defeat. But breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Saget doesn't want to buy the Apache Soul.
He tweeted his new
What am I left to
YouTube channel,
do?
and I recommend all of you go to youtube.com/@AlexJonesLive and subscribe. He's only got 797 subscribers.
You're in the early.
Yeah, look at me.
Now you can start messaging him. Been a subscriber since 907.
I mean, look, you know, this guy's got a small channel, but I think he's pretty good.
He's on the way up.
He's on the way up. Maybe we could bring him on and do a collab, and it'll help boost his subs. Shout
Yes! Yes! This is why I'm here! Oh, I'm the 1,000th subscriber. I'll remember this day for a long time.
So, now Alex Jones tweeted out his new channel. I'll say this. I think the reason he's not using his older channels is that they, because of the lawsuit against him. So he makes a new channel, which is outside of whatever that suit is, perhaps. I also don't know if YouTube actually unlocked his accounts. I'm wondering if Alex Jones is basically poking the bear. Google announced they will no longer take political censorship. The only reason Alex Jones ever got censored was purely political. It's purely political. Now that he's back, the question is YouTube going to pull him off or not? I will also add, I submitted our Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Timcast IRL episode for review, and they rejected the appeal. It appears I've submitted again. I will not stop. And my contact at Google, it's been a couple days, hasn't responded yet. So that, after everything we've seen, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep pressing this, but this looks like a massive victory.
So were his old channels unbanned, or are they still going?
I don't think so. I can't find them.
Because even if they were, it might be beneficial for him to start a new one. Because like you said, you started a new channel recently. Reach again. Algorithmically, it would have been throttled.
I think the big issue is what the reason. I don't think they unbanned him, and I think that there's InfoWars is part of that lawsuit, all of those companies. So Alex Jones is allowed to have human, personal social media, and that's what he's got right now. He's gonna have 1 million subs overnight, I swear.
How did your videos do covering the YouTube censorship? Like on YouTube?
Moderate, middle of the road.
Dude, Jim Jordan's a hero. I know it wasn't just him uncovering this stuff and forcing it, but this decision by YouTube or whoever owns, Google, which is owned by Alphabet, they're like, yeah, okay, gates are open again.
You should ask, everybody should ask their liberal aunt, be like, so about that free speech discussion, did you see what was going on over there at Google? They won't know anything about it because Jimmy Kimmel didn't talk about it.
That would be a good re-election campaign 2028 for the Republican Party, is really explain to people how it worked from 2020 to 2024.
Even that, think about if Jimmy Kimmel just paid lip service and brought this up, how much goodwill he could have won if he didn't want to apologize, made the most tacit apology to what he did, but also brought up the Google censorship of conservatives. He could have actually made a lot of inroads with people who weren't a fan of what he said, but also are staunchly free speech. He's still here.
And Gavin McInnes was brought back to X last week.
I saw Elon Musk is never heard of him. Did he say that? Did he say didn't know?
Bro, this is wild. I can't say much right now, and if anybody knows, don't say anything. But Friday's culture war is going to be it's gonna be the craziest thing.
Yeah, the future is the potential of crazy for the future is unperceivable. I don't even know if you realize how it gets ignorant. Beyond sight, it's pretty. It scales exponentially, which is what makes it interesting.
You know, it's crazy that the polarization that we're experiencing, not politically but emotionally. That Alex Jones is back. He's at 3,000 subscribers already. I don't know how long this will last. Maybe they will take a move against him, but if they do, it's going to fly in the face of the statement they gave to Judiciary Committee and Jim Jordan. Gavin McInnes being unbanned is massive. The uncovering of the censorship is absolutely massive. And while we celebrate this, we also have to contend with the leftist terror attacks against us. Yeah. But it's an equal and opposite reaction. All of these tremendous cultural victories are resulting in a massive backlash in some kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but in terms of the scale of victory, how they are recoiling in a comparable violent fashion.
Yeah. But that makes it unequal. They're kinetic to us doing that.
What I mean is the numerical value of
also looking forward to what's coming. We got to remember, a corporation has control. This show has like a singular corporation called Alphabet. Not all, they're on different networks, but Alphabet's power right now. And Harrison Sewell, who did a documentary called Game of Money, focusing on the Federal Reserve, said that, you know, once the culture war sort of simmers and slows, people will remember that central banking is the issue right now. And our country becoming bankrupt is what will cause people to become radicalized.
I don't think that it'll cause people to become radicalized. I think that people will be radicalized by societal factors, and then they will become violent because of a collapse.
What does that mean again?
Like they're not gonna, like, I'm guessing the average person
What?
is looking at like all the average person's
What does that mean again?
Who the have-nots who are angry at the haves.
I don't remember actually.
Nice.
People that act out, they don't often have a deep understanding of.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
They don't have a deep understanding of why they're actually angry. Because if you have a real good understanding of the system and the way that it works, most of the time people say, "Oh well, I understand this. I can use this to my advantage." It's the people that don't understand, that don't have the ability to take advantage of the system.
Lord have mercy, I think it is.
That get angry and say,
In what language?
Unfair. I'm locked out, so I think it'd be better
Greek
to
and
destroy and tear it all.
And those were the Bolsheviks at the end of the Soviet, or at the end of the Russian Empire. Where they were in a terrible economic situation. Weimar Germany, they were completely, and they didn't understand. They just follow along with their socialist government. So you got the Nazi Party.
The Nazis were a reaction to communists. And the Nazis weren't extremely far away economically from communists, right? They were kind of fighting over the same
socialists.
ground.
It was still authoritarian. You know, the thing, I'm looking at this, and I read, F.A. Hayek and The Road to Serfdom, and I understand a lot about economics and conservative ideology. What's slapping me in the face right now is the difference right now is between the two sides is a spiritual difference, and that's what I saw Charlie Kirk actually emphasize. And turning point literally means, I know I'm changing the subject, but I'm not. What I'm saying is that we can get away from ideas and rational logic, and we can argue all sorts of things. But what I'm actually seeing is a spiritual battle going on in this country and the world, and repentance means to turn from the direction you're going in. You're going in this direction. Repent means turn around. We, as humanity, have been traveling away from God, and it's time to turn around and come back to God. And that's how simple that is. And what I'm seeing is Gen Z men, especially Gen Z males, actually realizing that they have one choice. We talked about this before the show. They're either going to be nihilistic, suicidal murderers, who are going to suicide people, or they're going to find something that's actually real. That is, and the generations ahead of Gen Zs have not been providing these kids anything tangible. And Charlie was saying there is a tangible thing, there is something there for you, and it's called loving God. And you start with loving God, and everything else will come back to you. And I'm seeing these kids going, thank you, that's what I need. I don't need to read a bunch of more philosophy books. I need something that's spiritual, that's actually solid. And to me, it's amazing to see that this could happen.
I just want to I need to add this in the context of Alex Jones from the Hollywood Reporter. Jessica Chastain says she does not agree with Apple's decision to postpone The Savant. So for those unfamiliar, one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, they did this show. I mean, this just shows you how much they're losing. In the same segment where we say Alex Jones is back, we can also mention this show, The Savant, where, you want to describe it, Brett? You're the master of this stuff.
Yeah, there's a Karen, you know, it's a female leftist power fantasy where a woman gets on the internet and she infiltrates far-right extremist chat rooms to expose domestic terrorism. It's based on like a 2019 article from Cosmopolitan. It's based on a real thing. No, it is based on a real thing. What they don't point out is that we talked about it today. Is like the first group in infiltrated and exposed was actually like a Muslim terrorist organization, but that's not what this will be. This will end up being, you know, right-wing.
Yeah, they're semi-canceling.
And she listed a bunch of in her very long, you know, letter. She listed a bunch of different, you know, recent terror attacks. To her credit, she didn't just list stuff that happened to left-wing people, but she did also mention Charlie Kirk and others. But what she does, she's not willing to admit. She says we need this event, we need this show right now in this country so we can talk about domestic terrorism. She doesn't point out that the show most likely would not have shown any left-wing domestic terrorism.
I want to give this its own segment, so I'm going to start from the top for those that are watching just the segment. It's a story from The Hollywood Reporter. Jessica Chastain says she does not agree with Apple's decision to postpone The Savant. The gist of the show is that, as Brett Desvig of Pop Culture Crisis just described, it is a lib-fem power fantasy where a suburban mom goes to the internet, infiltrates following jet crews, and then stops their terror attacks. And as Brett mentioned in her post, disagreeing with the fact that her show's basically being pulled. Maybe they'll bring it back Jimmy Kimmel style. She listed a bunch of attacks, and as I started reading these, I was like, oh boy, let's debunk this in the best way we can. She writes, in the last 5 years since we've been making the show, we've seen an unfortunate amount of violence in the United States. The kidnapping attempt on Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Let's pause there. Now, as most people know, I think, what was it, 80% of the men involved were informants? And it was a couple of guys who were, I don't want to say necessarily entrapped, but basically entrapped. Right. There was one instance where the informants drove a guy around her house and he was like, and then they arrested him for it. So let's continue on.
They're like, do it.
She then mentions the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and I will give her that one 100% not good. And she just described it as an attack, and I think that's fair. She didn't say insurrection or anything. People did storm into the building and smash windows.
Notice she didn't mention like all the stuff that happened when Brett Kavanaugh was.
I gotta read. The assassination attempts on President Trump, agreed. The political assassinations of Democratic reps in Minnesota. Now this one really gets me. You know why? It was Greg Gutfeld who made a really great point. The guy who killed these people in Minnesota, he didn't do it for overt political reasons. Right. He may have been a Trump supporter, he may have not been, he may have been an appointee of Waltz. I will stop. I will just, indeed, in his car. Now, I will just stop and say this. For the sake of argument, I will give the left that this guy was a Trump supporter. Don't get it. He was a Trump supporter. Okay, thank you. He didn't kill these people because of political reasons. He knew them. So this appears to be not motivated by the rhetoric of Republicans. Still bad. Not good, and she just described it as an attack, and I think that's fair. She didn't say insurrection or anything. People did storm into the building and smash windows.
Notice she didn't mention like all the stuff that happened when Brett Kavanaugh.
People did storm into the building and smash windows. An attack, and I think that's fair. She didn't say insurrection or anything. People did storm into the building and smash windows.
Notice she didn't mention like all the stuff that happened when Brett Kavanaugh was.
I gotta read. The assassination attempts on President Trump. Agreed. The political assassinations of Democratic reps in Minnesota. Now this one really gets me. You know why? It was Greg Gutfeld who made a really great point. The guy who killed these people in Minnesota, he didn't do it for overt political reasons. Right. He may have been a Trump supporter, he may have not been, he may have been an appointee of Waltz. I will stop. I will just, indeed, in his car. Now, I will just stop and say this. For the sake of argument, I will give the left that this guy was a Trump supporter. Don't care. He was a Trump supporter. Okay, thank you. He didn't kill these people because of political reasons. He knew them. So this appears to be not motivated by the rhetoric of Republicans. Still bad, must be condemned, but a distinction that I think is warranted. The attack on Speaker Pelosi's husband was a crazy guy. Literally, there was nothing political. The assassination of Charlie Kirk, agreed. The recent shooting at an ABC affiliate station in California. Yeah. Over 300 school shootings across this country. I agree with that. These incidents, though far from encompassing the full range of violence witnessed in the United States, illustrate a broader mindset across the spectrum and must be confronted.
Yeah, Doug.
I've never shied away from different
Girl, snack bar.
Unfortunately, it is. Unfortunately, the show as depicted in the trailer was literally just showing white supremacists.
Please pull, if you can, find the article from Variety asking, it says like you should not, why pulling the Savant is like the worst thing you could do right now. I don't know if that's enough to find it.
Apple postponing is a huge...
Yes, pull that up and read it.
Is a huge mistake.
Yes, pull it up and read the opinion.
In a shocking decision, Apple TV is postponing the premiere of Jessica Chastain drama series The Savant, offering another chilling example of how business giants are running scared of the Trump administration and bowing to pressure before it even exists. The series had been scheduled to premiere September 26th. After careful consideration, we have made the decision to postpone The Savant, an Apple TV Plus spokesperson said in a statement to Variety. We appreciate your understanding and look forward to releasing the series in a future date.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, I'm looking for a different one. It's let me see if I can find it.
Well, it does say Apple's making a huge mistake.
Okay, scroll down.
Yeah, that was just the intro to the article.
Okay, yeah, you have to read the actual...
Having watched the 8-episode series for review, it's clear the Savant is precisely the type of show America needs right now. It looks at a sector of mostly white male individuals who believe that America belongs to them. Fueled by hate, bigotry, xenophobia, and misogyny, they talk cruelly and candidly online about enacting harm and violence towards individuals or others who they feel are unworthy of being in their country.
Wow, it's about projection.
So I have a video. I recommend everyone subscribe to youtube.com/@TimPool. The Tim Pool Show YouTube channel. Live. Recorded live when I ChatGPT and said conservative political violence. It said there's around 320 if you include January 6th. I said leftist, 13,709 if you include the George Floyd riots. If you remove January 6th and the George Floyd riots, let's just say they cancel each other out. They don't, but let's just say they do. There's around 100 far leftist, not even far left, just liberal, Democrat-aligned violence in the past 5 years, and 2 from the right. And I will say this too, with respect for the intelligence of the audience. There was a right-wing individual who sent a threat over the Jimmy Kimmel thing initially. So this person, I guess, threatened violence against ABC because of what Jimmy Kimmel said, and Bob Iger and Dana Waldron apparently were concerned about threats stations had received from the right. And I think that's fair to point out. There was also an individual who tried burning down some church and was motivated by something. I don't know exactly the details. I got no problem pointing that out. The bigger question as it pertains to all this violence is, should I be, if I was to walk, I'm walking down the street, right? And I see a pink-haired, black-clad individual, and I look to my right, and I see a chubby white guy in a MAGA hat. Which side of the street should I stand on? It's obvious to literally everybody. Yeah. The likelihood that middle class white Trump guy is going to do anything to you is slim to none. And while I think it's fair to point out that the pink-haired weird on the left probably won't do anything either, if we're talking strictly about which is more likely, we all know it's the left.
So one of the things I noticed after Charlie Kirk's shooting, and I saw people arguing right away about the motives of this person and, his belief system.
Dog, I'll be back, you fucking cuck.
Oh, my word.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
Holy shizer, brother.
All of this different stuff, and I was like, no, we're gonna find all that. Fascinating. We're gonna try to figure out about
Visha.
virtual reality and the world of social media that is.
I'm on my Visha.
What's more important to me?
Where's that from?
At the people who celebrated
What?
Charlie Kirk's death, and I was.
Oh, I want my visa. Where's that from?
No, I said I'm on my visa.
Middle of the road leftists who
Nice, dude.
doctors and teachers
And it's from
lawyers
nowhere.
and business people.
It's from my brain.
And they were literally celebrating this horrible act of political violence. I've never seen anything on the right to compare to that. I've never seen
fucking Tolter be Gloter, bro.
Celebrating something as heinous as what happened to Charlie Kirk. So I'm more concerned about like where is society now that it's okay.
Dog, what's the difference between Kyrie and Kyrie Lason?
Actually saying that Charlie Kirk deserved this because of his.
I already forgot what the translation was, so I don't even fucking know.
That's the part that scares me the most. Is not that there's, some wackos that are feeding off each other in their silos on social media and they do horrible things, and they're probably encouraged by the leftist rhetoric. It's that there's such a huge portion of our society
Dirty
that can
whore.
actually celebrate this.
Schnell whore.
That freaks me out more than anything.
I think that psychosis comes from people talking shit at each other on the internet, and there's no immediate response. Like you can say the most.
It's not an either or thing. There's nothing commensurate.
Let's
be
real.
Holy
when
fuck.
I saw the George Floyd riots, I thought this is how we're supposed to live. And then when I saw that big prayer vigil, I was terrified because, like most Americans, prayer is the most threatening thing to them.
I think that to Marty's point, though, like
going on here.
Hold on. To Marty's point, though, like when you hear the things that the left brings up that they're complaining about, things like Pelosi or the Minnesota lawmakers that were killed, they were not specifically. Like they were not right wing.
Why do we have to pay tax on digital games? It makes no sense.
I've made this remark about multiple times.
I do not know.
It's ridiculous for them to say, "Oh, this was a political attack," and the right was celebrating it. No one on the right celebrated it.
Nobody.
The right laughed about the circumstances, yes, because it was ridiculous. They're both in their underwear, right? And one guy, ridiculous for them to say, "Oh, this was a
is how we're supposed to live." And then when I saw that big prayer vigil, I was terrified because, like most Americans, prayer is the most threatening thing to them.
I think that to Marty's point, though, like
going on here.
hold on. To Marty's point, though, like, when you hear the things that the left brings up that they're complaining about, things like Pelosi or the Minnesota lawmakers that were killed, they were not specifically, like, they were not right-wingers going after people. And the Pelosi incident is one that I've made this remark about multiple times. Like, it's ridiculous for them to say, oh, this was a political attack. Like, the right was celebrating it. No one on the right celebrated it. The right laughed about the circumstances, yes, because it was ridiculous. They're both in their underwear, right? And one guy attacked Speaker Pelosi's husband, and that's bad. But nobody was saying this is good. I'm glad that they did, and he deserved it. He was a bad person, and we need to see more of that. Or there's more people that should be on the list, and that is what the
Holy
biggest
shizzeroni.
that Charlie got murdered. But the context is greater than just Charlie's murder, because the left celebrated in a gleeful and joyous way, and then they called for more and listed off the people that they thought needed to be killed.
Here's the thing. I'm small potatoes.
The right never did.
I'm out in Nevada, and I had just talked to TPUSA, and passed their test, and then TPUSA at University of Nevada, Las Vegas was part of a group of young people who wanted me to come and speak to them. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and then the next Monday I'm supposed to go to UNLV and speak to this group, and I had a fleeting thought, like, I wonder if I should do this. Is this a safe thing to do? And of course, the very next thought is, I can't possibly let these people win. I can't live in fear. None of us should live in fear. But it's just insane to me that, like, that's the kind of thing that these people want us to do by celebrating.
You ever get tired, but you don't.
Tim, I'm sure
but it's like it's painful tired.
All sorts of horrible threats all the time.
You can look them up on
Nice,
and
dude.
So, like, you're not going to go, probably. I'm going to go do it.
Fucking piece of
shit.
We canceled our Alex
Fucking painful tired. Fuck does that mean?
We can't get this.
Yeah, it's just
it means what it means.
For as long as I've worked at this company, there have been swattings and incidents, and after what happened to Charlie Kirk, I was on my honeymoon, and my wife literally said, this is the first time that I've thought, maybe I don't want you working in this industry.
Was it were you outside?
Yeah, the first time.
When they pointed the guns at you?
Yeah, me and Andy.
Was that a swatting?
So yeah, the very first time that there was a swatting, me and Andy were walking in from one of the other buildings, and
we were like skating, right?
Yeah, we were out skating. And we were coming back, and the cops literally were like, hands up, walk backwards towards us.
Yeah.
Well, you had skateboards. I mean, that makes sense.
No, rollerblades, even worse.
Oh, rollerblades.
They were walking.
Actually,
Point being,
blades on your feet.
The point being that it's
roll
like,
backwards.
we work at like a media company, and we have to worry about these types of things. And
on the left.
like, and I don't even want to talk about this with my family. Like, I don't want to scare my family or my parents or anything like that.
You know what I think why we see what you think on the left is where this kind of psychosis of like violence when on the people on the right are. I think that people that have sort of been broken or that are at a level of intellect where they're easily manipulated by media are drawn to groupthink, and that is like communism, collectivism, and so they find themselves identifying with like, what do we think, everyone, on the internet, that type of stuff like that. And people that are resistant to it are drawn to individualism and owning your property and protecting yourself.
Is my stream not lagging at all?
I'm telling you guys, let's.
I don't know, dog. I'm playing a video game.
It's like a funny thing to say.
Damn, dog. Guess what's ready to play?
Conservative boomer thing to say, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
What?
You know, Marx and Lenin and
Nice.
progressives all the way through. All the way up to Derrida and
Fucking tell this faggot to guess, and he says what?
And the deconstructionists.
Yeah, what? I don't fucking know.
I said guess, you fucking retard.
It goes all the way back to romantic poets.
You actually expect me to fucking guess?
It's a rebellion against
Yeah.
God, and when you
Fucking
eliminate
retard,
God,
dude.
you're open to this, and that's where
Mr. AIDS McGee, that's what you are.
comes from.
I think the antidote is virtue. Charlie was like, talked about Erica when he met Erica, and he said she's Christ-like, and I'm like, okay, that's our job as Christians, or just to live in a good way. You want to be Christ-like. You don't want to be Christ, because that adjective is to explain the anointed one by God, Jesus of Nazareth. But you can be like Christ. And if you embody the sin opposite the virtue of the seven
Tell me what it
virtues
is.
of Catholicism, chastity, diligence, you have temperance, charity,
Nice.
patience, humility, and how is it? Kindness. And those 7 things are so important to embody. If you embody the sin opposite, you become anti-Christ. And that's what, if someone super famous and well-loved starts to embody sin, people might erroneously say he is the Antichrist. He's just Antichrist in that moment. They can still redeem themselves.
It sounds like all of the left. Like when you described those things, those 7 things, the inverse of that, it's like the left is what? They're arrogant, prideful, wrathful, lazy, envious.
Yes.
7 deadly sins, yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's always cracked me up that there's Pride Week, and now Pride Month, and it's like,
what's Sloth Month?
It's one of the 7 deadly sins. Like, you
Gotta
could've
go
come
get
up
my
with
controller. Fuck.
The hell just happened to you, dog?
Dude, this shit is so annoying, man. I'm not even tired to where I'd be able to fall asleep. I'm tired to where I'm annoyed. It's so stupid.
This reminds me of when the company that took Halo over decided to name their company after one of our main villains. 343 Guilty Spark was a villain. And then 343 Guilty Industries made Halo.
They love the left loves the villains.
It's important. We can all become anti-Christ. We can all become anti-Christ. So it's important to stay virtuous, because like when Trump said, "I hate my opponent," he was embodying wrath, which is anti-Christ. if you don't check him on that and let him go down that
Wait,
road,
what is this?
He asked if he checked. That's what I loved about it. He was asking.
Yeah.
I think I'm making a mistake here.
Yo, when'd you get it?
Somewhat smile on his
Right now, I
face,
spotted
Trump's being
downloaded
Trump,
it.
and he
Fucking
wants to be
downloaded
redeemed.
super
He's
fast.
asking to
How much did it
We gotta
cost?
go to your Rumble rants and
20
super
something?
chats, so smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know right now. That uncensored portion of the show is coming up at 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. It's going to get fun, not so family friendly, of course, but join our Discord server at timcast.com. Click join
Wait,
us,
you can drive in a
and,
city,
it's a
bro?
party. There's tens of thousands of people there, and they're wondering why you aren't
Telling
hanging
you,
out.
this
Before we
fucking
go,
game
check
is
out our
lit.
great sponsor, my friends. It is Block Trust IRA. Check out blocktrustira.com/Tim. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. Block Trust IRA is making crypto accessible to everyday Americans looking to build retirement wealth. Their white glove concierge service walks you through the entire process. No overseas call centers, just real American crypto specialists helping you invest safely. What truly sets them apart? Block Trust IRA believes Bitcoin changed the game. Now AI changes the strategy. Their exclusive access to the award-winning Animus AI technology, recognized by Bitcoin Magazine as the #1 crypto platform among 1,500 plus global competitors. The system works 24/7, executing sophisticated strategies that outperform traditional buy and hold approaches by a significant margin, minimizing risk and maximizing opportunity. With over 60 cryptocurrencies to choose from and military-grade security protecting your investments, with $200 million in insurance, you can diversify with complete peace of mind. Whether you're rolling over an IRA, 401k, or just starting in crypto, Block Trust IRA has you covered. For a limited time, you can get up to $2,500 in free bonus crypto when you open an account. So check out blocktrustira.com/Tim. Don't forget, all investing has risks. You guys need to make sure you are making these decisions for yourself and based on the advice from these individuals, what you think works. I will also just add on top of this, I am very, very happy personally that I bought Bitcoin 10 years ago.
Nice, dude.
Dude,
that's true. That's true. But in all seriousness, you know, we like the Block Trust guys and everything. Just make sure you're doing your due diligence. It's your money. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. By the way, it's going to come down to what, you know, your responsibility.
I bought Apple in 1998. That's all I'm saying.
Woo, jealous. You know, my first Bitcoin was at 70 cents. And then I sold it for $5, dancing like, let's go. And then I had 20 Bitcoin when it was at $20, and I sold it, and I was like, let's go! It spiked to $20, and I was like, guys, I got $400.
It isn't alpha or
There's no way
beta
anyone would have expected $100 grand for Bitcoin. Listen,
whatever you say,
on
dog.
these forums, I was hanging out with these people back in 2011 when Bitcoin hit like 70 cents, it went to $1 or whatever. I've been using this. No one thought, we were all like, wow, it's at $20. What do you think? So when it went up to, when it crashed down to 1,000, I was like, I'm done, and I bought a bunch.
When it was at 80,000, I was like, it's so much. I'll buy, and then it went up by 50% to 120,000.
Yeah. I bought in at 30,000. It was like 27, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy some more.
And remember Max Kaiser being like, Bitcoin's gonna go to $1 million, and everyone's like,
Oh, so Alex Jones has the story where Max offered him 10,000 Bitcoin, and Alex was like, I don't know, whatever, I don't care. And then my story is comparable because, you know, back in the day, like Max is in El Salvador now, but shout out to Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert. I see them much more periodically. And Max was like, Tim, I'm telling you, just buy a bunch of Bitcoin right now, and you hang out with us, and you're going to be rich. And I was like, okay, Max, I get it. And then I didn't.
So crypto people will be like, talk about other cryptos. There's other cryptos that are better, but Bitcoin's like the VHS. You know, there might be a Betamax that's a better piece of tech out there, but
nice.
Let's read some chats. We got Liberty Denny says, in California, the first ICE agent is doxxed, and them or their family is harmed. Everyone who signed SB 627.
Damn dog, I'm gonna crash. I'm losing control.
1976 says, I'm a Flintstones kid.
Whoa.
I know.
That was my daughter saying that. I wrote
Nice, dude.
This is actually, the physics are pretty cool.
I didn't know about the Flintstones thing. Wow.
Yeah, you're Flintstones kids, 1985.
Yeah.
I wrote that. You have grown, so you. Did you ever take a Flintstones vitamin?
Of course.
Okay.
We
Well,
always
there you
I
go.
love the memes.
and the kids wanted to eat more than you're allowed to eat.
Yes.
They were yummy.
That's why all the memes were like, why I haven't gotten COVID-19 yet. And it was
Is your daughter still a musician? Because she's a great singer.
She is a good singer, but no, she's a wonderful. She's
How do I
got
restart?
a 501c3 nonprofit that helps foster kinship care. It's called. It's foster kids, and she's serviced over 30,000 kids in Nevada alone. But she was 5 when she sang and growing. Wow. So, and she's saying we used that clip of her singing and growing on many, many commercials, and it put her through college, by the way.
I'll definitely have to
I don't know if this is
get mods for this game.
rude or anything, but would you be able to play something on our electric piano?
Possibly, yeah. I could probably try.
We'll have that for the uncensored portion of the show. I don't know if it's hooked up or what we need to do to make it work or whatever. We'll figure it out. All right,
Camera's
Skyline
not
says,
great.
"Youth
It should
not
follow
looking
the
down,
car,
these
but
barrels are like empty clear glass, easy for communists to fill with any colored propaganda and turn to killers. Parents must pass on values to kids. Government.
This is the thing about Catholicism that I love. I've spoken a lot of crap about Catholicism. I have issues with authority controlling religion, but that they forced people to repeat the virtues. This was a huge part of Catholicism. Remember, what are the 7 virtues? It's an integral. And now we have a free speech society.
Nice.
And
Yeah, this is actually sick, dude. What the hell?
Remembering what these virtues are. So it's important that we do it of our own free will so that we don't have some authority come in and try and force it.
Indeed. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Unit Glue says, I'm wondering how much holy water can fix right now. Watch the interviews with The Exorcist that assisted with the movie Nefarious. They speak very openly about how much the demonic loves technology. So we did a whole episode on the Culture War podcast Friday morning. Yeah. Last Friday about exorcisms. And I asked Father Aaron, what do you think a leftist would do if you tried to forcefully exorcise them? Can you imagine how they'd act? It would look like The Exorcist. Now, here's the funny thing about it.
Lots of squirming and screaming.
Right, like imagine if there were some leftists outside and a priest walked up and started saying, you know, the power of Christ compels you or whatever they say. They'd be going, fuck you, Now, hold on. Imagine what would happen if a Christian conservative was walking down the street and a priest tried to forcefully exorcise him.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh,
Wait, how do I get over?
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's funny, right? Maybe. Yeah, he'd
Okay,
say like, I
I
thank you, Father. Yeah. Like it would just be a calm and okay. I gotta be honest, man. I think some people are possessed because think about a normie. A normie would be like,
there's more.
They wouldn't freak out like leftists would.
It can be
like
a
these
fucking
people
couch.
At these rallies who like,
Or is that?
I don't even want to begin to
shit I can put around? What the hell?
You've seen the videos.
Makes you more like them when you get in their headspace like that.
Yeah.
That's why empathy is bad. Sympathy is better. I
Oh,
agree with Charles when you hear the full explanation that empathy is
tank.
feeling the feeling somebody else has, and it's not necessarily a healthy place. You don't want to actually feel
she won't let it weigh her down. I think she certainly expects the death penalty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone had mentioned in a chat.
How do I get over to vibration?
Killed him to, if he could be involved, to have multiple life sentences so that he could actually repent.
I mean, I think the general view among most of the Christians is there must be some sort of penance, and we must protect society. But it is preferable if you seek, what's the right way to describe this?
Dirty holes.
You know, like come to terms with what you've done, ask for forgiveness, and forgiveness doesn't mean you get to walk free and not face the penalty for what you've done. Maybe I think the general idea is that it's when you ask for forgiveness, it is just about releasing that pain from within for both parties if you truly mean it. But you're gonna go to jail. In this instance, I think Utah wants the death penalty. So, all right, what do we got? Kishun says, Kimmel saying if Trump shuts down other shows, he hopes his viewers to respond tenfold. Does that include terror threats? That's literally what happened. I don't know how you take it any other way, guys. When Jimmy Kimmel, when a viewer shoots up an ABC station and he says, thank you, maybe Jimmy Kimmel should have come on the air and says, did you hear this guy shut up a station? I mean, this is insane. Guys, stop. What are you doing? No. He said, do more. I don't think people recognize where we are. No, I take it back. I think at this point, people are really starting. And it's terrible. All right. Pino Shea says, Ian doesn't acknowledge the communist.
Yeah, this camera's really bad, though.
Commanders. Oh, right. Social technocrats.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff around here. He's saying that the global economic theory used to be about
Can't fucking see.
vaguely right-leaning things, and now it's very much about global homogenization.
Riflex says Sinclair and Nexstar percentage of majority Trump Scotland 24. Zero location of DC affiliates. Trump County cities 24. There were 16 out there.
Dog, you want to see some death, dog?
Alright, let's see what we got.
There you go.
News because we had a terror attack this morning on an ice facility. And
There have been 4
God damn, dude.
There's been 4 ice attacks in the past. There's been 4 attacks on ice facilities in the past 2 weeks. The idea that we shouldn't cover this or discuss this is just ridiculous. He can go and watch, you know, something on video games or other topics, but to if you are covering,
I'll probably have to look up how to download mods on this game because I guess they're supported. So.
Crisis where we'll make fun of the savant and talk about the deranged leftist female power fantasies instead.
And if you're playing Halo while Marty's talking, you're listening to the guy that made the music.
That's right.
And you're playing as you're playing it.
Kai says, Marty, thank you for making the music for my favorite game. Also, damn you for taking part in making the horror. Who at Bungie thought it was a good idea to add zombies to a space game with RPGs?
Well, yeah, that was. I have to.
Oh shit! Yo, look. This is actually real physics. Hold on, let me see. You see how like how the front looks when I give it gas?
Yeah, it goes up, right?
Like the front left goes up, yeah. Whoa! I didn't know there was a rock there. It's a nice car,
Rocket
though.
launchers were in the hands of they weren't zombies. They were too fast for zombies. They were the Flood, and that was me. So yeah, that was a little bit scary when all of a
Crash
sudden
into
you ran
another
into
car.
the library and the Flood had rocket launchers.
And the first time you
I don't think other cars
first time that you run into the Flood, like the first
whatever.
encounter, it actually was pretty scary as far as like video games go.
Yeah.
You know, it was really cool. It was
Tried to scare the kids.
They have more weapons and bigger. And
Well, yeah, as you went further, suddenly they had the ultimate weapon, and you're like, you came around a corner and got a face full of rocket, and you're like, who shot that? What, the Flood is shooting rockets now? It was.
Did you also do all the original Destiny stuff?
I did music for Destiny, and all the actors, including Peter Dinklage.
But I don't understand how they the original Destiny story was just hodgepodge nonsense, and everybody knew. We loved the game anyway.
You realize I got fired just before the game.
Well, is it because you were opposite?
It actually was. I'm working on a book, believe it or not, and it will tell my story of my time at Bungie and in video games. But yeah, there was some discussions and disagreements about how that whole thing was handled, and the story was trashed. The original story that we had been working on got trashed, and then they were going to try to fix it at the last minute, and it was like that was impossible. It's going to be junk. It's going to be garbage.
I mean, it largely was with the gameplay. Gameplay was good. Yeah. But man, this is what 2014.
Exactly.
Because me and my buddies played nonstop. Yeah. Back when you could actually farm the glitch. When you shot into the cave. That's right. Yeah, they took it away from us, and it's like, why? And they're like, because you're not playing the game we want. And well, I guess the general idea is you level up too quickly, it ruins the gameplay, and things like that.
It shouldn't have been. It was the way the game that I was going to work on was going to be Halo meets World of Warcraft. I thought that would be wow. But I don't think that's what we ended up doing. And the story only when I was working on it. I didn't play Rules Shift.
Because, you know, one of the things I really loved about the original World of Warcraft and the original Destiny was in World of Warcraft, you could chop it. You could exploit map terrain and go into unexplored areas, and then you could learn about upcoming expansions. And in Destiny, you could do that with a sparrow. You could go up to a wall and then You can click.
Oh.
And I can't remember the last one.
Damn, dog.
I think it was when you unlocked the darkness.
I fucking
whatever, and I was
died.
just like, they have no idea what they're doing. The story is just such cockamamie BS, and it really ruined it for me.
What was the destiny of the story?
Where the shit is traction control.
You know, the story changed so drastically. We got rid
Well,
of
I'm alive.
characters like Rasputin and some
Right.
other things.
Well, he's still in it, sort of.
No, but I mean the names are there, but it's not the story we had.
I think one of the worst things about it was I don't think the people at Bungie understood that I wanted to see humanity's, I wanted to see victory.
Yeah.
And so all they kept giving us was defeat.
Yeah.
And so every time, this is why I basically stopped playing, because every expansion was basically like, let's lose again. Stop losing. I want to come back to the game. I want the expansion to be like, there's a lose. And it's like humanity is reviving and reclaiming planets. Instead it's just like,
robot AI creatures that are destroyed.
The problem with that is everybody turned out to be a robot. By the end, it was like, I swear,
It started strong, but it was just that.
Yeah, just the story. And by the time I saw the script, I hadn't worked on some of the script because I was sort of writing
I was going to ask why.
I recorded that line and I was like, I remember sitting at a table right next to me.
I was going to ask you, what was the reason the stranger didn't have time to explain? You know, I think the gameplay was largely good. I think it's broken at a certain point, but Destiny and Destiny 2, me and my friends played nonstop. I think my buddies still play it all the time, actually. I don't even know
the raids. Did you play like like any of the raids?
Oh, yeah, all of them, dude.
Okay,
oh,
well,
man.
I remember the guy who designed the raids. He said, Marty, the thing you want to have Destiny be, it's not the game, but it is in the raids. And I'm like, sorry, Luke. That was Luke Smith.
The Glass, what was it called?
Yeah, the first one was
Glass something,
Looks like a pretty big map.
Yeah, it's really nice.
not so
It was,
great. It's not so great. The most recent expansion.
Crota.
Oh, okay, Crota.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Crota the son of a bitch.
Have they successfully
the actual gunplay was so similar to Halo.
Well, the gunplay was events inside the game. I can tell you, one of the things I remember when this decision was made, it was like, well, you know, not everybody can be a hero. And I'm like, but if you're playing a game, you want to be a hero.
That's the point of playing video games.
This is a problem.
Was it to make people be bad or something?
No, it was just like, this is what's going to cause you to want to play with your friends and have and join up with other people in the universe. We had no control over what we used to call the AI. So the characters that are characters that play along with you, you had no way to control them inside the game. You couldn't script things. And so I said, where are the friendly Marines? Where's the
So the complexity of the puzzles, the gameplay,
they were able to do it only in the raids community. Similar to Halo, and that's what you told me. That's in the game. That's a part of the game.
Because the raids takes. But the raids and stuff like that, which is, you know.
You play World of Warcraft?
I played a little bit, but not much.
I played it when it first came out, back in vanilla, level 60, tier 2 PvP rogue, all that good stuff. Okay. I was a destroyer, field marshal gear, all that good stuff. That means I'm obviously not the best. I had grand marshal or something like that.
But you still felt like a hero. I get it.
No, it was really difficult to get that gear at the time. Alterac Valley was the best.
Yeah, it is.
And but I can tell you where they broke the game, and it started to come around. In the vanilla game, you had to make friends. You had no choice, and those friends attached you to the game. So I think we had TeamSpeak at the time. That's what we used. Man, this is 20 years ago? And so I'm running around, and I'm like level 30-something rogue. I got no idea what's going on, and then someone comes up, and they're like, are you in a guild yet? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to do, what's that?
Play Hogger?
No, that's like level 10. Level 30 was, what was it? It's the
Ungoro? No, you're talking about Dark Maul, is it?
No, it's the red area, and it's Badlands. It's Badlands. You go into the cave, it's level 30 instance. And so anyway,
all those ogres,
the drugs. But anyway, so I end up joining a guild, and then they're like, here's our server for TeamSpeak or whatever. And I join, and they're like, hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the guild. I was like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, hey, you know, my name's so-and-so, like, here's what we're doing. Let us know if you ever need any help or any materials or whatever, like, let us know. And I'm like, cool. And then all of a sudden, I was going online, and it was like a friends list of people when I was a kid game. They got rid of that for the auto raid function. Now, I mean, the last time I played, I think it was Legion or something. No, it was Shadowlands. But you go in, you click on the one raid, you click it, and it just randomly pairs you with 40 people that you don't know. They're stupid, easy, and boring.
Yeah, man, you used to have to find a warlock and befriend him so that he could teleport you to the dungeon to go play with friends.
Nice.
And now you just click a button. I don't know. It's like this age of
Alderman.
Alderman. That's what I was trying to think of. Alderman.
All right, let's grab. I'll grab one more here because everyone's like, read more super chats, and I'm like, bro, I'm getting lost in old video games, man. Sorry. Simon Keys says many of us said this was going to take a war to stop the existential threat to the people of our once free republic. Tim and friends, now we get to see if we can navigate and survive a fully mature communist rebellion. I think we're winning. I think we will win. But the night is always darkest during the dawn. And so we can see these terror attacks on the recoiling temper tantrum of violence.
Guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram. Those platforms, and what you should do is we are live Monday through Friday.
I'm Ian Crossland, and thank you guys for coming. Thanks for having me. Very, very.
Truth about what's happening.
And so that's where we are. And you got Bill Maher, saying, "Oh, this is a soft coup. He's establishing martial law in slow motion," and all the rest of it. Nope, not true. So I've stayed true to what I stand for and what I believe in. And we have lawlessness around this country. Anybody that lives in a blue city has experienced it. Things have happened to my crew, myself, including being murdered recently. I was driving around yesterday morning at 6 a.m. and drove into a bad area, and it was like zombie world or something again. Just people foaming at the mouth, running across, fires, tents everywhere. Just 5 years ago, they flipped the switch, cut the police, stopped enforcement, and it is now cuckoo land in many areas. Most of the crew's moving to the countryside outside, got to drive in an hour because they got kids and don't want to be here. So I don't need to hear about statistics. I don't need to, I'm living it, baby. I wouldn't go into downtown Austin at night unless you've got a death wish. And we're not even one of the worst cities. And I see the Democrats who's like, well, Texas has got pretty high crime rate too, don't run your mouth against California. Yeah, because all the cities are blue, asshole. There's basically no crime out in the countryside, jackass. It's like California. Just anti-law arsonists just running around, burning everything down. They keep it's psychotic. So getting into all that, look. Lawyer investigating all that and a lot of other stuff. And he's busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. And he's crisscrossing the country. And he was like, this is on record, that's off record. I'm sitting there writing notes. And then later I'm checking this stuff. He wasn't giving me really any of this stuff that's secret or nothing. He didn't want the bad guys to know because it's all cut and dry. But people aren't talking about the fact that there are grand juries in New York, in Missouri, in Virginia, in Florida. And that's not even secret. But the media doesn't want to report on it because they don't want you to know that there's actual action being taken. This is not 8 years ago. And the first Trump admin, going up to 4.5 years ago, when it ended, where there was all the talk that was never true about secret grand juries and shit, Hillary's been executed, and all the rest of that stuff He's in D.C. right now, I'll leave it at that. And he's like, nope, it's starting, it's happening.
Holy shit, 220? 230? 240? Oh shit.
Just because Ed Martin's finally gotten prosecutors and investigators together that aren't cowards, just because he's got the funding, just because they're opening grand juries, it's up to the grand juries and what they want to look at and what they ask for and what goes on. And massive pressure before, the Senate and grand juries put these states under investigation. All those agencies and groups and all that money they've stolen, they have a big incentive to not go to prison and to keep the power and to get money.
a wall at 230, 240 or something.
Go for it, dog.
Phone call. Hey, your line won't be a problem if you vote right.
That's insane, dude.
So, just because, so we're in a whole different ball game now. They've got grand juries open. They've got people that are squeaky clean that the globalists can't dig up dirt on, who are willing to move forward, that are the prosecutors. Known Ed Martin 25 years. But we now got to get the grand juries to do the right thing.
Nice spawn point.
So, am I 100% guaranteeing that you're going to see hundreds of indictments in the next 3 to 6 months? No. But that's what they're going for. But you will see a bunch of indictments. So just mark down 11:17 a.m. Central Time, 12:17 p.m. Eastern Time.
Nice, dude. Fucking can't drift for shit, you piece of crap.
It's supposed to be a drift car, but it doesn't have a handbrake.
Nah, you just don't have the skill.
Nice.
Every day. Oh, 2 weeks to indictments. Well, I was like, BS. Because, yep, yeah, it was run by Comey.
Dude, what the fuck is the handbrake?
And the DOJ was run by weak people like Sessions. And evil people like Bill Barr. Big mistakes. Big problems. Trump admits that. Bill Barr isn't there now. Now he's been caught working behind the scenes against Trump. Of course he did. So, it's a different ballgame. And, you know, I've decided, some of this stuff is just too powerful and incendiary, that at least I'm going to concentrate on it and think about it a little bit before I decide what to say. But whatever, some of the inside battles and what they're going through and what's happening, and he's up there 7 days a week. And he's got limited numbers of people that are good, but also understand it's a war. So he's got a bunch of decent people now, but a lot of them still think everything's just, we're still in Kansas. And, you know, oh, we don't want to work on the weekend. No, we don't want to work on Labor Day or Memorial Day.
So they give you different versions of the same car that have different power levels. That's pretty cool.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be up here tonight. Talk to him Saturday in the afternoon. I'll be up here tomorrow. You know, my wife's fully backing me. I'm working 18 hours a day. I love it. This is a real chance to save the country. And I'm like, well, you know, you're going to be the biggest target ever now. I've already resigned to that. This is what God wants me to do. I'm just not worried about where I want to be. My family totally backs me. And I'm just like, that feels good, doesn't it? He goes, yeah. I said, I know the feeling. But you better know, like, Trump, he is the number one target. And so I think that's really the big message here is we've got some real people in here. Okay, you see the raids on Bolton, you see the subpoenas going out, you see the criminals that are the grand juries being put in. When the DOJ convenes a grand jury, they're going for indictments, okay? And there's such limited knowledge, even by conservative patriots, about how the federal court system works and things that I don't mind people that, you know, for all those years, all that crap. And me that I told you it wasn't real.
Oh!
This is real. And then you got the danger of how the globalists are going to strike back. They're all doing, you know, fundraisers for lawyers. They're all geared up.
They get cut in half.
They were laughing the first administration. Yep. They're all, you know, we expect to be indicted.
It's probably not a full
we're
frame
scared.
car, so
yeah,
it doesn't need to stay in one piece.
They're not publicizing these raids like they did on Roger Stone. They don't call the media. It was neighbors, you know, shot the footage of Bolton. And then the people saw it. And
1,800 fucking horsepower.
So you're only getting a very small percentage. month later, there's no action. And so they have a and so he's testifying in grand juries.
Dude, that was fun,
He's
dude.
at
That
grand
goes
juries
so
this
hard to
week.
control.
He's at grand juries next week. I have not pushed deep state the same group after us. I just saw like the big scholarships. We should get those first, but they see all this as very important low-hanging fruit because they were sloppy with us with the apparent just to pat me on the head, I can assure you of that. I probably shouldn't even say.
Holy fuck.
Because,
dude, that thing is crazy.
Everything he told me, he was like, and by the way, they all know this, so you know, that's why we can talk about this. We're not giving them a heads up. We're letting them, everybody know how the cow ate the cabbage. Because we also want their minions to know they can come into Ed Martin and we can expose the crimes, and then you could be given immunity. Or you could possibly get that. He was acting. We're just trying to cover your crime and blame it on somebody else. That's not going to happen. But in one of the biggest issues, he was not complaining. He was the processing of the hundreds of high-level whistleblowers. I mean, remember, he had the main people over the auto pit months ago come to him and explain the committee that ran auto pit. And that's treason. That's totally illegal. But then you can debate, well, did Biden know or didn't? Well, the selling of the pardon is cut and dry. So they're honing in on the things that are cut and dry. And again, it is the evasion of income tax that is the easiest. A bunch of these high-level Democrats and operatives and even FBI agents, you name it, they just don't even pay taxes. Or they file a tax return and just put 100% lies in it. So, and you can say, well, income tax is unconstitutional. Point is, they're the one pushing it. They're the one jailing patriots, over not paying enough or whatever.
Yeah, Buck, it's a fucking hill. I can't go to it.
Those take 6 months to a year. Even if you speed things up, you got to spend that a bunch of those, but that even with them
that stuff
tyrannically doing it, not following due process, they never got where they wanted to go. Plus, they had no evidence. So the deep state needs to know. I mean, it's come out in studies. Over half of the Democrats don't even file taxes. So yeah, you're going to get indicted for income tax. So enjoy yourselves. Heads up, because see, they can't go back and change that now. But what you can do is you can call the DOJ and get a meeting with Ed Martin and his prosecutors right now. And, you know, there's already so many. You kind of want to get in the front of the line. You're kind of in the middle of the line now. If you were involved stealing USA money and then laundering it into foundations, if you were involved stealing Department of Energy money, if you were involved stealing the EPA money, hundreds of billions, it's okay. You just need to come in and turn state's evidence right now, and then you're going to walk. Because we don't want you. You're going to get the money. You're going to get the money back. But if you do a really good job bringing down your bosses, you're going to walk. You're not going to spend any time in federal prison. But I can tell you, thousands of you are going to be indicted for income tax evasion. Oh, you think the play is mortgage fraud? Well, that's kind of icing on the cake because you said Trump did that with no evidence. We have Adam Schiff and all of them claiming a whole bunch of residences, the primary residence, to get giant tax exemptions. That's mortgage fraud and income tax fraud. It's cut and dry. You can't say you live in California and Maryland in both your primary residence. That's fraud. Just like if you claim 2 houses as your homestead or whatever, or you know, or it's fraud. And how many patriots have been thrown in prison for that stuff? Not even doing it cut and dry. Oh, they had the IRS on me for over a year, 2 years ago. Oh, they had 4 outside auditing firms sitting about a phone report too. And they said, oh, this never really happens. You overpaid, here's $4.3 million. But it was a bankruptcy, so it got slurped in for the very DOJ law firms attached that used the money to sue and attack me and my family, so they then paid themselves that money in fees to harass us more. But it's okay because they can take their claims everywhere that I was hiding hundreds of millions of dollars and was a big crook, and what? Stick it up there lying patooties. Because none of it was true. I'm a Boy Scout. And you ran into the fact that I'm not like you. You guys. You think the people that did all this to me, you think we're going to do a racketeering thing? You think we're going to do a money laundering thing? That's being so easy with you, though. But how about tax evasion? Did you pay all your taxes? We'll be right back. Stay with me.
What really makes a nutraceutical work? What is a nutraceutical? What is a supplement? Yeah, I mean, let's just talk.
Blowing.
I'll be back in a sec.
What's the show called again?
Let's go to some of Trump and the ongoing press conference, taking questions from the press. And then I'm going to come back and News Blitz. And then I'm going to just run through the laundry list here. And again, I can take each one of these things, write a big article, do a special video on each one. Each one is huge news. But I'm just going to just spill it out and just say it next hour. And I've already covered about a third of it, but I'm going to go back over that and all the other stuff. But it does give me a headache because, I mean, like each point I'm like, that is so incredible. Like exclusive, you know, what the grand juries that nobody even knows about. And just all this directly from the, and it's just like, oh, and it's like, yeah, I know it's ever happened. We're not going to even look at the corruption and talk about it. Because, you know, no, we're frying them in the court of public opinion. We have them. They fought so hard to keep Trump from getting back in because they knew he was going to come after them. Look at the climate we're in. Look at what's going on. The grand juries are open. this to be the top story. We need to back Ed Martin. We need to be pushing this out everywhere. People expect things to happen so quickly. I've been there 31 years. I look back where we were 30 years ago compared to now. We are in the pole position. We are in the catbird seat. We are winning. We have the initiative. And instead, it seems cooler since not knowing the facts and the research to say, it's all screwed, it's all bad, screw it all. And I see more attacks on Trump and Republicans than I do on Democrats, because that's the new cutesy thing to do. Can you imagine if Kamala Harris was in there right now? Do you know how many good things Trump's doing? It's amazing. He does some things that are bad, and I'm talking about it, and it will coming up. This DOJ whitewash with Ghislaine Maxwell, where, you know, she just puts out all this ridiculous crap. It's pissed off the victims. And then you got the spin everywhere. Ooh, the new book.
Damn, dude, this thing drifts better with one fucking wheel.
Jeffrey died. Oh my God. Is it going to expose Trump? Drudge Report headline. Is Trump in danger?
You can see the
And then she's all on record saying Trump never did anything to her, was never mean to her, never saw him with any underage people, nothing ever happened.
What'd you say?
That's pretty cool.
Never saw him at the island. Later in the footnotes, like, well, because she's on record, and all the other women, the real women, have said no. Well, then how does she know Trump? She worked at Mar-a-Lago, where he continued to steal the older and young people for real estate, for jobs, he had a bunch of businesses, and Trump kicked him out of the club over it. And it was in the news at the time. And the last straw was when he took Jeffrey. And then that's when he went to the DOJ. Even Wolf's book that's anti-Trump admits that. It's on record. Trump went and dropped the dime. And Epstein told Wolf, yeah, he's the one that first got me put in jail 20 years ago or 19 years ago. This is all old news, people. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. At Mar-a-Lago, where she worked. And he told Epstein 2004, do not steal my employees, and do not
It's not even that bad of a crash.
You cover this up. National Security Plus, the British are rolling over because of the royal family involvement. Make a deal. Trump's like, all right. We're like, statute of limitations, sir, blah, blah. Okay, fine. And they turn around. Oh, he's involved. And he's just like, all right, that's it. Oh, you got the new files? Oh, they say my wife's a hooker that worked for Epstein?
I definitely want to get new...
that's what happened here.
Like real cars.
And Trump's got bigger fish to fry. And he's just pissed off about it, like an old man says, screw you, I'm not dealing with it.
Fictional.
That's the best approximation of what I've got.
Pretty much fake cars.
But it still doesn't
like
matter how it looks to the public. But it's on now. It's official. They are investigating the Federal Reserve board members out of New York. Oh, you guys won't cut interest rates? Oh, you guys say you're above the law? All right, we'll just criminal investigation, start indicting your asses. And just watch. When they start finally indicting some of these people, the grand juries are just now opening the last few weeks. It's going to fall like a house of cards. Like an old barn when a tornado hits it. Just gone with the wind. They're already cutting and running. They're already whistleblowers. Just the offices are full of them. They're up there till 2 o'clock in the morning with them. And it's just bringing the receipts. And then you got to go get a grand jury. You got to subpoena the people. It's due process. You got to bring them in. And the wheels are going slow, but now they're going faster and faster and faster. So bare minimum, they're all being exposed in public opinion. But I'll assure you these grand juries haven't been set up for no reason. They don't set them up unless they're going for indictments. That's the point of it. All right, let's play a few minutes of Trump, taking questions from the press, and then I'm going to drill into Judge blocks Trump from...
I'll be back.
Pulling federal funding from sanctuary cities. Trump bans Ukraine from long-range strikes into Russia using U.S. weapons. Snoop Dogg slams LGBTQ representation in kids' films. They're putting it everywhere, and I got a bunch of news ties into that. Texas lawmakers give final approval to new congressional voting map, sending the Democrats into full panic mode. Think tank urges Dems to drop these 45 terms. Wait till we go over these terms. You know most of them, but some of you might not. Some I'd forgotten about. Cincinnati Police Union rips arrest of white victim in viral street attack as political interference. The guy's on video not starting the fight, getting beaten up. But the leftist police chief and the Soros DA have indicted the victim. Also, Cracker Barrel's lost hundreds of millions of dollars in stock value for putting out these things that look like postmodern medical laboratory rooms. Now, you want to go to a place that looks like a fishing lodge or a hunting lodge or grandma's house. Black people, white people, everybody loves it. Let's go to a rustic-looking, cheesy redneck joint and eat chicken fried steaks. That's where you want to eat them. Like barbecue joints with the old Coca-Cola signs and the old gas pump out front, and old nostalgic paintings. And Cracker Barrel's like, we're sick of white people. It's a white lady. We're sick of all this old-fashioned stuff. No, you've got to have an aesthetic thing that looks like, you're going to get a proctology exam or something. It isn't just they got rid of the logo, got rid of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's and Land of the Lakes. No, that's not why. It's the new restaurants. Literally look like laboratory, like a sterile room. Oh, we're not going to let you, we're not going to let you old wood panel walls and a bass on the wall and, an old, skillet for cooking cornbread. No, you don't, no. You can't have that. It's evil. And then, of course, everybody stops going there. Oh, you can't have a buck on the wall. We need to ban hunting. Because they got to get ready for synthetic meat. So you got to get used to, anything old-fashioned's got to go because they got something new for you. Here's a little bit of Trump.
Ukrainian President Zelensky, European leaders all met here with you at the White House. You said you wanted to get this done bilaterally as soon as possible. Have you spoken to Putin since last Monday? What is your conversation?
Every conversation I have with him is a good conversation, and then unfortunately a bomb was loaded up into Kiev someplace, and then I get very angry about it. I think we're going to get the war done. It's done. I thought that would be, of the 7 that I settled, I thought that would be the easiest. So you never know what's going to happen. War, strange things happen in war. The fact that he went to Alaska, our country, I think was a big statement that he wants to get it done. That was not easy for him to go to Alaska, for him to come here. But the fact that he he showed up on a very successful day. It was a very successful day for other things because, you know, we're also talking about missiles, nuclear. We're talking about a lot of different things. We're talking about limiting nuclear weapons. We'll get China into that. We have the most. Russia has the second most, and China has third. But China is way behind, but they'll catch us in 5 years. We would like to denuclearize. It's too much power. And we talked about that also. That's part of it. But we have to get the war over with.
Thank you. On Baltimore, you said that you are going to have to reconsider bridge funding. Is that contingent on Westmore cleaning up the streets?
No, we were very generous to him on a bridge. You know, a boat ran into a bridge and the bridge came down like I've never seen anything. The boat was it just shows you the mass of that boat, the power of that boat. You know, people were up on that bridge, painters, they were painting the bridge and they were watching it happen. And they thought they were very safe. They all died. They were painting the bridge, can you imagine? And they watched the boat. The engines were off, and they watched the boat, and the power of that boat, the mass of that boat, went right through that steel just like it was nothing. It's amazing. It's called mass. Mass is a big deal. But the mass of that boat, those people all died. But they thought they were totally safe. They were eating their lunch. They were, you know, whatever. They were watching it. They could have gotten off. Somebody did a very good job. A police officer called in and said, close the bridge, and he did it with power. Get everybody off the bridge, close. That guy should get a medal because he stopped the bridge. A lot of people would have died, a lot more people would have died. The ones that died were the workers of the bridge. And they thought there was no danger because, you know, it's a big steel bridge. And it came down like toothpicks. It was incredible to watch that. It was just, and they died, they all died. But that police officer, again, the police do a great job. The police officer did an amazing job. And I heard the tapes. He would say, get everybody up. Most people wouldn't have said that. You know, when you see a thing like that, you assume it's going to, you know, tap the bridge.
This is Trump a little while ago. Now he's with the South Korean president who's praising Trump for trying to get peace deals. Let's look in on a few minutes of that, then I'm going to plow into all of this massive news and information, including RFK Jr. just dropped some more massive bombshells on Bill Gates and more. And I intend to open the phones up as well. And then we have the Green Beret, who the feds tried to force, like they did Randy Weaver, to go set people up on J6. So instead he went there to warn people, so they threw him in prison. Trump released him from prison. He's a really smart guy. Terry Brown will be in studio in the 4th hour, so be sure and stay with us for that. Or if you're busy, be sure to go to X later, or Alex Jones, or Band.video, and we have that interview with Jeremy after we've done it today. We'll be there. It's going to be very informative. Right now, let's go to Trump speaking with the South Korean president.
And we'll work on that. I think it's very good to work on that. If you remember, you were doing the Olympics, and there was a great time of hostility with North Korea. You weren't selling tickets because nobody wanted to be blown up in the stadium during the opening ceremonies, right? And you were not selling tickets. And I was also at my formative stage with North Korea and Kim Jong-un. And we were a little bit going at it about Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man, having back and forth, and it was really nasty. And then I got a call one day, and they wanted to get together, they wanted to talk, and we started talking. And then he said really brilliantly, he said, you know, the Olympics is going to be opening very soon, and we'd like to be a part of it. They actually put teams in it. You got along great. And by the way, immediately upon that phone call, you started selling tickets, and it turned out to be a tremendous success. So it went from being empty stadiums because people were afraid to go, because it was a target potentially, to a great success, and I was very proud of that. You had one of the most successful Olympics, and now we have the Olympics coming to the U.S., so we're very happy about that. But that was a great honor to get involved and make the Olympics so successful.
만일 오늘 대통령으로 당선이 되면 절대 그런 상황
attention to this matter. So yeah, and he's also fighting the EU's tyranny, the UK's tyranny. Got more news on that here today. Let me tell everybody something important. Today is the last day to get 25% off store-wide at thealexstore.com. The very best supplements, wide selection of Patriot Apparel, the Ultra Methylene Blue, the Shilajit, the Irish Sea Moss, the Ultimate Life Force, Spike Protein Detox, so good for your whole cardiovascular system. That's on top of the regular discounts, 25% off on everything on top of it. And check out, but you got until Friday also, today's last day, 25% off, to get 50 entries for everything you purchase in the sweepstakes to win the amazing souped-up off-road blacked-out Jeep Gladiator. And it's so fast. It's an amazing car. It's not your dad or grandpa's Jeep. And it's just amazing. And I'm not against Jeeps, but I'm not a Jeep fan until I'm proud of the new ones. I drive around with the sweepstakes vehicle, and I'm like, wow, this is just incredible. And so smooth as well with an off-road insane. Well, until this Friday, it's that window where you also get it put in 50X to this sweepstakes, but to the 2025 souped-up red Corvette. Look at that baby. So this is the 1 week where the offers overlap. So when you buy any product, you put into both sweepstakes and $10,000 on top of each vehicle. So $20,000 in prizes and a potential to, somebody I guess could win both of them, or one person wins one person wins the other. So, and you see the listers come in at Wendy's and they just love it, and it's a fun thing. I love to meet the listers. It's, it's a big league thing. I never had giveaways and people really like it. What I really like is the supplements like Ultra Methylene Blue. You're really missing out if you don't listen to testimonials and realize this isn't BS, and it's so good for you. It runs the operation, and it's so good for you. It feels so good. Why would you not go to thealexstore.com? Only way we fail, you fail, is you don't take action. Get Ultra Methylene Blue now at thealexstore.com. The last 5 years, I've had all these scientists on promoting spike protein detoxes that have saved so many people and done all this. And finally, we're like, hey, we better do our own. Let's make the best. We take the two best-selling ones, combine the two with stuff that the government tried to ban so people would die. And yeah, we're selling. How evil, how destructive, how horrible you are to the general public. You are the apex predator as the globalists, as the robber barons, as the British Empire, as Cecil Rhodes, as J.P. Morgan, as Lord Rothschild. Anyone you can steal, dominate, manipulate, poison, kill, enslave, deserves it, and you're doing a positive thing for society. It's a twist on that which doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. But then they sell it through a lovey, squishy, liberal NPR voice of, oh, be nice, be friendly, oh, women need to vote, oh.
Two of the co-founders of Ms. Gloria Steinem and Pat Carbine were guest speakers at this luncheon this afternoon, and they're both with me now on Fresh Air.
No. Now they're wedded to the state and the system, and they're the new bosses, just like the Romans did.
Gloria Steinem said, if you don't go out to work, you betray the movement of feminism. You betray the women's rights movement. Babies will be fine. Don't worry about them. And into daycare, give them to a babysitter. You need to go out to work. You need to be soldiers in this war that we're waging. And women just soaked it up. Meanwhile, Gloria Steinem never had children, so she could say that. That message was very destructive.
So they sell the tyranny as liberal and loving, but all of it is to undermine and control. You see movies like Django and Unchained and stuff, and it's a black guy in the house, and he is the biggest racist and all that. And that idea of Uncle Tom, it wasn't Uncle Tom's, folks. I'm not putting down black women. On record, it was black women in charge. That's called being a house slave. Now, where did they get that? You think that was invented by the colonies? No. All over the world, including Africa, where they still have slavery, it was the same institution.
In Libya, hundreds of immigrants along North Africa migrants' routes are being bought and sold in open slave market. So listen carefully. Slavery is not dead. It is very much alive.
You'd go capture and take over a tribe, you'd kill the men, keep some of the boys, and then the women would go under Stockholm Syndrome, almost all of them, and would be your best servants, and you'd create them as the subclass, but the bosses over the others. It's the same thing, over and over and over over again. So you can talk to a feminist, you can talk to all these brainwashed people, and they feel like they're part of the power structure, and they're in the system. This system is designed to make you stupid and alone and enslaved and finally dead. You just don't look at me because I'm white and tell me I'm some like superstar slave master. In fact, you know, the only place in the world, now that they've studied all the cultures, where they didn't have slavery was Western Europe. Africa had slavery. Asia had slavery. Mesoamerica was based on slavery, and they sacrificed the slaves. What you've been taught about white people is absolute horseshit from one end to another. Welcome to hour number 2 of this live Monday, August 25th, 2025 transmission. All right, I want to run through the really interesting and historical and powerful things that the main leader of Trump's whole group of task forces going after the deep state, Ed Martin, told me Saturday. And then some of it's off record, so I got to be careful about that. But this is really, really, really big news that is coming up. And then I'm going to integrate it in with all the latest developments that are unfolding in the mainline press. But first, I want to talk about the problems at the DOJ and some of the signs that the institution is still riddled with people that are trying to cover up the past crimes of the institution, which obviously they think we promote and think they're going to hold out until Trump is out of office. And one example of that is outrageous. DOJ continues to stall and prevent release of Seth Rich records. He got executed. We know from the NSA data that was released to Congress and William Benning, the former NSA technical head, that it was downloaded at the site. It wasn't hacked by the Russians. Seth Rich was angry, and he found out about how they stole the election from Bernie Sanders, so he began to put information out, so they killed him. And they have fought like the devil in the first Trump admin and then with Biden to keep it all sealed, and still it's sealed. Well, here's the good news. Time and time again, when we spotlight bad stuff in the DOJ, in weeks or months, it's reversed. And I can tell you what happens. Ed Martin and a few other people go report it to Trump. They talk all the time, basically daily basis, many times in person, and then Trump lights a fire, and stuff gets done. So Trump is in there bullwhipping this thing, and he's not telling them what to do, the specifics. He just wants the people put in charge to be greenlit and not have people step in front of what he's doing. So we'll get to that. But starting 4 months ago, when we saw Kash Patel and Bongino, the newly minted FBI director, deputy director, go on Fox like deer in the headlights, like prisoners, like hostages. I know you're not going to like this, but he killed himself and he acted alone and there wasn't human trafficking and the tooth fairy's real. And then everything that subsequently came out was just one disaster after another, because we know the PR groups from the FBI that are giving them this info and having them do this in their schedules. That's why Bongino is tired of doing it and just wants out. But now the AG of Missouri, Miss Hardcore, has been brought in to not replace Bongino, who already wants to go. They just said, don't quit, it's embarrassing, wait till we get this guy in. I predict Bongino will be gone within a few months.
Yo.
But the new deputy head is really set if Patel doesn't do his job. And that's from our very accurate sources like Kyle Seraphin and others. And I can tell you this. You might end up seeing Ed Martin as the AG. And then you would see the Missouri AG as the FBI director. And I didn't get told that by Ed.